What is up, everyone, and welcome, Misfits one and all, to this episode of Ask Us Anything or Say Something Funny, the show where we get you to ask us something or say something funny from our supporters who will have a chance to ask us questions or give us our best one-liner. You're going to be able to send those questions and jokes to us into Super Chats, or if you have channel mentorship or Patreon support, though every subscriber and viewer is welcome to join in on the fun. So won't you join James W. and myself, Amy Newman, for a four-way? Oh my.
How's everybody doing tonight?
That's right. Hello, everyone out there on the interwebs. Like James said, I hope you're doing well. And please don't forget to like, follow, or subscribe, because when you do, you gain access to that bell icon, which when clicked to all, boop, boop,
that bell.
hit that bell, baby. When you gain access to that, you'll see our premieres and reminders to see our live streams like this right now. Though, actually, I should say, speaking of premieres, I sent out to our Patreons and our channel members the hot news, the official announcement that the first episode of Skeptic on the Street has been recorded. And so I think I'm going to give a rough cut of all of our channel members and Patreons, maybe the first interview. And there was a good palette of people. It was both, I would say, a literal theist, a metaphorical theist, and an atheist. And so really I got the whole roster in one day, and I'm ready to go back for more. But yes, also
I figured you wouldn't have enough one outing. That's not it. One go.
Well, and it was hard at first because that's what he or she said. Because you're hyped, you have all the equipment on. We've done 2 or 3 testings now with the equipment, the GoPros and the recorders and the sound and everything. And so the bondage gear, the whips and chains. And so when we actually got out there, there is this moment where you are just looking at crowds of people. And you have to kind of break that barrier. It's the same barrier that you feel, coincidentally, I think, when standing up on stage, in that you don't feel that pressure until it's right on you like a spotlight. But then once we were actually talking with people, having conversations, because it's like fishing, first of all, that yes, well, it's harder to go for groups. I tended to stick with just individuals because if you get multiple people, you could get, I think, shuffled around in ideas. But with single people, we were able to ask them, and every 10 people, I think we were able to get someone, which was still a good ratio because there was a lot of people that were coming through. And we basically said, hey, would you like to be on a podcast? Would you like to be on a show? And the main theme, I think, all
got to sign the waiver, sign the rights away.
Well, the funny thing, I learned a lot of this from Anthony Magnabosco, sending love to him. But basically, each and every time you get them to agree to it, but then the moment I start filming, Rachel starts filming, we go, that you don't mind being filmed right now, because I just want to make sure every time on camera. And so, but it was great. I think the more literal, though he was a really nice guy, was a Southern Baptist. I can't really stick a definition on the middle guy, but that tends to be the metaphor
more liberal
for you. Yeah, the more liberal. And then the last one, she was really awesome to speak with, was just basically an out and proud atheist. And, I was very open with the A word, which we all like to hear. We like to normalize that shit. That's right, baby.
Well, I'll tell you, I had fun with this one the last episode. And you'll know what I'm talking about when you hear.
Again, this conversation is being recorded.
Remember in the back studio last time?
My goodness. Can we talk about that?
Yeah,
we have to talk about that.
Fill them in.
Because, we had a guy on the channel last, and I say had him on because that was really loosely, because he was, loosely in his chair, how intoxicated he was. But, we had a guest. Yes. And he... His nickname was very sideways. We won't give it away, but and this gentleman came on, and James and we have a running game, and it's not just me. I originally thought it was me, but I feel you have a straight white man, hear you, to tell you that it's not the LGBT community about to project this on. It is 9 out of 9 dentists agree. Every time that we have an anti either gay or trans person come on the show, without a doubt, they end up having Instagram films of just them sucking big old D's. I don't understand why. And that was absolutely true. And we don't even have to fish it. It doesn't even take long. It wasn't like I had to take...
No, that was so easy. That was easy. Yeah. Because it's just hey, have you ever blanked the blank?
Well, no, because...
yes.
Because what he did, he set himself up. Because he came... he first of all, he wouldn't leave. We don't... we kick people. That seems to be our new thing, as we have finally given ourselves the permission. But we have let them held backstage, because I always thought maybe they'll learn a thing or two. Maybe Pat Lowinger will be on. They'll actually be accidentally learning something. And so we kept him around, and he kept on rejoining.
He changed his name to Goyam in the
Yes,
number.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he went the whole...
He went for the full anti-Semitic, just to let you guys know what he's up, who he represents.
Which James said he might have been on our show last time. The guy who kept on asking...
the guy who kept on saying, I'm not Jewish. Oh.
Yes.
Oh, well, I just want to tell you again, I'm not Jewish.
The subject is why is the earth round? And he's like,
I'm not Jewish.
I'm not Jewish. Well, cool.
Have I told you before that, over and over again, okay, all right, guy, we get it. You're not Jewish. We get it.
But yes. But he was big on anti-trans. He even went as far as to call one of our fantastic panel members an agate. I'll let you fill in whatever letter you want to fit on there. But after all that, and we let all that vile spew out, he went, I will tell the truth no matter what. That is basically what you guys are afraid of, and I will tell you like it is.
He's gonna lay it down.
Lay it down.
Blow them truth bombs out.
Which is great, because I'm fantastic. I really just want to know one question. Please look me in the face, even though you're upside down, and tell me that you have never sucked a big fat juicy D. And ladies and gentlemen, it wasn't just any D. It was Admiral Akbar, if you could just give us a quote. It's a trap. Yes, it was. Yeah. It really was. And it didn't take that much pressing. And so, ladies and gentlemen. James, it's not even 9 out of 10 dentists at this point. It's 9 out of 9. I don't know what else to say, but we're sending love. I hope him, his therapist, and maybe his soon-to-be boyfriend find, or,
Girlfriend,
whatever. Yeah, maybe girlfriend.
Yeah.
Once again, maybe just hetero-flexible.
Nice
Shouldn't
trans
hate.
woman.
Exactly, right over here, baby. Though not with that attitude, you're not.
Well, he might need to see somebody along your lines who can put him in his place. Give him a nice swat when he's
Gavin's
naughty.
been learning that. Oh, can we
Yeah.
add? I've added Gavin and Iron to the list. I didn't want to add Iron to the list because I'm pretty sure he was banned. Can we talk about that too?
Iron,
I think we
Iron,
did.
who's Iron?
Iron, Flat Earth Aussie.
Oh, Iron.
So, because I feel like we now have 2 placards of pantsless apologetics. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are looking for Christians who want to defend the faith without pants, we have gentlemen for you.
Daddy. And to his credit, there's Whitsitt, the nice conservative Christian flat Earth superstar. Like, they talk about him like he's LeBron James of flat Earth. Like, he is.
Oh, but can I tell you how triggered I think he was the last debate? I think I got under his skin with some Socratic method and some actually not just bringing up a study, but they tried to poo-poo it. I've realized that you got to bring it up again and again and really press them on it because he was in the comments section. I've learned. I lurk in the comments section. I can't help myself of debates and stuff. I always like to say thank you, but I always try, even though I like debating in text chat. That's my roots. I try not to, but yet I saw Whitsitt everywhere on that debate. He could not help himself because little damage.
You could tell he was just getting belligerent. He was getting like almost Nathan Thompson-esque. Remember that Nathan Thompson debate? Where he's Google it, bro. Look it up. Yeah. He was kind of channeling those vibes. Like,
then again,
like,
I don't know.
That's a good one. You're killing us. He's like, he's doing that because he wants to give the impression that that's not what's happening. That you guys are killing him. But of course, yeah.
Well, they want to
he is a flat earther.
Not only shrug off the burden of proof, but they basically, I will present studies and they will say you are using a argument from authority fallacy by competing to scientific consensus. They will then quote mine someone like Neil deGrasse Tyson saying something about on low planes or something. I would actually have to see the quote. They try and quote him saying you can't see curvature from a plane. I would like to see Neil deGrasse Tyson say, but they use types of examples.
I think actually Neil deGrasse Tyson just misspoke. I think he is just a little mistaken on that one. I think he just misspoke. And look, he's a brilliant guy. He's smart. It doesn't mean you're never going to get something wrong. It doesn't mean he doesn't know what he's talking about.
But not only that, but he's not a flat earther. He believes that the earth is round.
Not at all. No.
And so they use sources. It is not like they present, just like creationists. They do not present.
And they hate it when you make that comparison, but it's like, you remember after my Kenobi debate when we had Peter cordially jousting with SFT Donnie about a study that he uses to point to a genetic bottleneck to find genetic Noah. And then he's like, okay, when does that study say the bottleneck happened? And, Donnie was squirming around. Like, like 120,000 years ago. Huh.
A little bit longer than 6,000.
You're okay with the bottleneck. They did that part right, but everything else they got completely wrong. It's really only, 4,000 years ago because it would be after the flood. So not even 6,000, just 4,000 years ago. How many times does 4 go into 122? Quite a lot. That's how off you are.
Just a little bit. Why I say it's a difference between 6000 and 4.50000000. So no difference at all. Besides that,
I mean, basically not.
They also, I noticed, and this will be the last thing, and we'll start to give shout outs and transition to all of the questions, comments, and one-liners out there. But they are starting to really get to them, that I take it from the anti-religious angle, that there seems to be such a heavy correlation. I saw some comments that were like, how dare she say this when basically the majority of flat earthers are atheists? It's like, what? I've yet to meet one. Yet a single one. I'm not saying there aren't. I'm sure you're always going to meet. The world's kind of
They
big.
are a small minority of
I would like to meet them, though, because they're almost always young earth creationists. Like hand sanitizer, 99% I feel confident that I've come across. But I'm willing to be proven wrong. Flat Earth atheists, come on. Yeah, well, it always comes down to a special creation. We even talked about that in the last debate.
They even hit on that
both of
debate,
them.
Yeah.
Both of them found a
they
consensus
both admitted
on special
that's
creation.
why there's this conspiracy. That's it, because they just don't want people to know. They want people to think that we are just one little planet in a little solar system in one galaxy out of hundreds of billions of galaxies, that you could look as far as you can in any direction, right, left, up, or down, and all you see is the same kind of shit that kind of looks like we're just one drop in the bucket, not significant to anything in terms of the scale of the universe. But now imagine this. Imagine if we were a flat pizza-shaped Earth with a glass magical dome on top and everything, sitting on a turtle, just sitting on God's dresser, you know. And then when God wants to flood the world, he just opens the hatches on top and pours the water in.
But their cosmology also falls apart. Well, it doesn't really exist, but anything outside the dome, it's just like, what is everything else? Oh, they tried arguing.
Nothing is.
They
say anything is outside.
Yeah, they basically, it's just globes of light. It's not anything. They're not actual other planets or galaxies or nothing. Ladies and gentlemen, as they call it, science. But yes,
crap up in the dome. Crap up in near the dome.
We do want to thank everyone out there. We do hope you're enjoying it. We're going to be having basically a whole bunch of just fun tonight, talking about whatever. I am actually going to read a portion in between all the Patreons and all the stuff and everything, or maybe after we get through that. I am going to read a segment of the book that I've written, just a snippet, because I want to, just the tip, because I'm excited. I am about to finish chapter 2. It was a really hard chapter. This chapter is exposition heavy, and that is, I think, one of the hardest things I'm realizing as a storyteller, is trying to convey backstory to people, because what you'll find a lot of times people will do is they'll do an exposition dump. And that is not good for people's brains, because you don't absorb it. It almost takes it out. And exactly, because people are like, is this going to be on a test? And so
if it doesn't appear to be essential to the story, a lot of people just gloss right over it.
Exactly, and it's almost like, again, taken out. It's like a story within a story. You don't want to.
There could be something in there that makes sense later, but if it doesn't look like it's notable at the time, they just gloss over it.
Exactly, and so what I have found, which I'm proud of, which I want to show, and once again, it's a draft. The spelling is hard. I don't even have spell check on, and so you're going to see all this horrible spelling and grammar and all this spelling mistakes. However,
it's raw, basically.
it's very raw. However, I'm falling in love with the dialogue. I feel like there's one or two I want to get sharper, but it's great because what I've learned is I'm hiding my exposition. What I'm doing is that a lot of it almost becomes an argument between characters. So one character may say something that's almost like a backstory, but another character will either disagree or kind of reject it or make fun of it or do so. It's almost like there's dialogue to cancel out the fact that you're giving exposition. And I want to show you also the comparison between what the outline was and what the actual story was, because I think it's great, because I'm playing the Larry David Field book, which is I have an outline and then I'm improving, and you can see how that works out.
So you're in exposition mode. So how many named dukes have you had so far as part of your story?
So many.
How many named dukes?
Yeah. I don't have any named dukes, but I had to create 3 historical events for my backstory, which I love. That and I'll say this will be the last thing, and then we'll start to transition into the next thing. And they're inspired from real life events. There is the 7-month war, which is the war in which the angels and the Wingles, the wingless humans, fought, and in which the angels won. There is what I have called the James Raven laws, and you don't have to know anything that's inspired of. They are
James Raven. Yeah.
James Raven. Can you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, obviously.
The James Raven laws came after the 7-month war, and they were
lots of restrictions on the rules.
They were a bunch of discriminatory laws,
punitive measures
inspired by a character from a fake book, an actual fake book in the story, but the laws, the James Raven laws, thus set up the start of the separation. And I'll give it away. That's right. Someone said in chat. Of course, of Jim Crow. But I love it because there's subtle things that kind of stuff. If you don't get it, it doesn't matter. It won't matter at all. It became important to me because in the moment I had to really solidify, and so the 7-month war leads to the James Raven laws. The James Raven laws leads to a technological outcome, the Project Mirror from their military. Saying things. The military creates the satellite project that creates a physical barrier that physically separates between the Wingles and the angels. And now you have your setup.
Part of your story, like an Alex Jones character, somebody who's like a conspiracy nut, but he's actually right.
Oh, absolutely.
He's telling them that he's telling everybody.
Well,
what's
can
going
I
on
tell
the whole
you?
Time, and nobody listens to him.
That there is so that character is not only a stock. I see him in in opposition to Spider-Man, but I want pictures of Spider-Man. That type of guy.
Remember the movie 2012? They had a guy in there. If you remember that movie?
2012. Sounds very familiar. But yes, because I will say, or I keep on. But there is a conspiracy because eventually this guy, my main villain, will have not in the first book, but in the second book he becomes Prime Minister. Spoiler alert, I guess. And so. And he is secretly converting people into this hive mind fungus thing. And so there is a literal conspiracy. And so, eventually that guy would almost be right. So to be soon. But okay, with that, enough. I do want to send love out there to everyone out there on the interwebs. We want to say hi to. I saw what is up, Pat? Woohoo! But what is up, Computer and Pseudonym and Sigma and Hillary's emails and Batman The Dark Knight. God equals square root of -1. Clockwork Rex.
Mr. Batman.
Sir. I always joke that you wouldn't want to be called Mr. Batman. I'm Batman. Mr. Batman's my father. What's up, James Wolfe, says the last.
Snake was right out there. Hey,
convinced
Snake.
me that he is wholly dishonest and doesn't believe what he's saying. Yeah, I just like James says, it kind of confuses me. They seem to act like he is this
They think he's a poet.
heavy hitter. What I think it is he just comes from the Kent Hovind school of rhetoric. Now, I'm a little bit of a rhetoricist myself. I was thinking that, I think the difference is that James and I are backing up our points with science, evidence, and reason. We're skeptics. My joke has always been that their job is to say extremely dumb things confidently. And so he says it fast, he says it with gusto, and yet it doesn't matter that, in my opinion, and well, not my opinion, in the opinion of physicists, a lot of what he says is absolute nonsense. But apparently,
I think he had Beamsy like rolling over, like he was. People who actually know the science behind what he's saying, and yeah, that's the thing. If they could say it with a straight face, with confidence, with they can make people believe it, or make people at least think that they believe it. Yeah, because that's really what they're selling to people. They're selling this fantasy that a lot of these people want to buy into, but you just have to make it at least have a veneer of authenticity. If you're able to do that, like
you
yeah.
think. What's
Like
up,
Ken
KO
Hovind,
Champ?
there's some
And no,
fantasy.
I'll tell you, I'm catching up on the chat. I was scrolling backwards, but I see you. I see Big Bad Mama.
Big Bad Mama.
I see everyone out there. We are sending so much loves. Keep on Norfolk and Sigma, and Snake was right. And keep on sending love. We'll keep on sending you guys love. Yeah. We're gonna keep on going. We'll send love. We're gonna send love out to. Well, first of all, this show is dedicated to all of our supporters out there. In a second, we are going to be taking any questions or comments or one-liners from anyone who is a Patreon or a channel member or anyone who wants to send in a super chat. However, we'll also be talking with just anyone out there who is a subscriber, viewer. You guys are our community, our family out here on Skeptic and Ranting. But you can help us out as well by becoming a channel member, by hitting that big red button right below, and by joining and getting evolving badges that just over time just seem to accumulate genes and mutate and seem to evolve into different things. It's amazing. It doesn't start out from just a beaker and go to a spaceship, but over many gradual changes, it gets there. And so our badge system,
fairy tale for grown-ups. Yeah. Like my
triggering the
fucking
creations.
snake. That's real science.
Exactly, that's real science.
Real science. Yeah.
Whereas geological layers, fake science.
Well, all the layers are the same age. How you just move one on top of the other? It's the same age.
But also, we are sending love to our Patreons at patreon.com/Amy Newman. It is the best way to help us make even more fun content, including supporters like us from the Atheist Roundtable, the Atheist Network Group. Boom, boom, boom. And we're just happy that atheist groups are growing. Our bigger brother from another mother, connecting atheists out there, along with the queen of production, Jena, and Biddy Buddha, and Shane the Skeptic, and so many fantastic people. Shout out to Uncle Mike, Uncle Mike, J Mike, Uncle Beck, Student Dr. Ben. There's many atheists out there as I can and non-believers,
J.
as
Mike,
well as
talk to Mike.
Ian Davenport. That's right.
Hey, Ian.
Boom, boom. Who reminds us that creationist talking points like the Earth is a watch tend to be a little silly. Kind of a little silly.
Yeah.
Oh, I said the Earth. That our heart is a watch. Our organs are watch. That lives are watches. That everything is somehow a watch on a field of watches in a vast
Everything
watch.
is designed. Because if one thing is designed, everything must be designed.
Yes, but that really doesn't make sense. But sending love to Ian Davenport. In fact, when we hear creationist claims, it makes us go, what the are they talking about? The world is only 6,000
Similar to
years
flat
old.
Earth claims. We hear
Yes.
that the world is flat.
Well, the only reason that we think that the world being 6,000 years old is silly or less silly than a flat Earth is because there's more people, like 40% of our country, unfortunately, thinks that. So we need to change that by record numbers.
I give the young Earthers just a little bit more slack on that because there are just so many ways you could prove the world is a globe.
Sure.
It's simple. Anybody could do it. The young Earthers don't get much more slack from me, but they just get a hair more slack from the flat Earthers.
I think that it does take a bit of degree in actually sitting down and learning high school physics. Because I'll tell you, I did not learn a lot of this stuff in high school. I had to really buckle down and do basically Physics 101 courses and learn a lot of the terminology because I think that is fair to the audience. I think when you go into a debate, especially with this, I come from a more of a computer science background with, I would say at this point, more of a minoring in biology as I make my way through undergraduate biology courses. And yet, so physics would be the weakest. It's why I was wanting to do more things in Big Bang. It's why I've been kind of leaning into these flat Earth debates because I've learned so much. And through it, I have found that they can be just as sneaky, if not more so than creationists, that they can hide themselves in lingo that it sounds like English, but it's not until you understand the actual science that you realize, wow, they are just talking nonsense.
Yeah,
like
what they're saying doesn't make sense at all.
Like all the questions that they bring up have actual answers. Why can't why they worry about gas forming to containers? Well, if you deny that gravity exists, it's going to be a complete wonder why everything is sticking together and not in a container. Basically, they're like, gravity doesn't exist, so it has to be a container in a dome. But it's like, but gravity does exist, so you can go yourself. But don't jump off a bridge. Or do so, but with a parachute, please.
Don't do that.
We normally make jokes where
heart.
Yes.
Humanity will lose so much.
But also sending love out to Diana Smith, reminding us that the Abrahamic religions really do not treat the other 51% of the sects out there like decent human beings. They generally may treat us like second-class citizens. Furthermore, they make jokes, non-jokes. You know.
We know.
Things like we shouldn't have women to vote. It was a mistake. All this stuff. You see that type of mindset lingering in a lot of funzy circles. A lot of them will just try and take it. The veneer, we're just kidding. You're just kidding if you press them on it. Just kidding.
It's a joke. Come on,
It's a
Amy.
joke.
It's hyperbole.
Hyperbole, even though we have seen what happens when they come to power, and they put those they put those practices into action. But also sending love. We saw him out there. We are sending so much love. We are sending a big archaeological hug to Pat Lowinger. Boom, 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 boom. The man with the plan who does things that creationists don't. That, once again, this is what the vast majority of people in the academic field do. It's called research. Creationists, do you understand what that word means? You have to actually go out into the field. And once again, if you wanted to hear that word, it's research.
Why? Why would you do
I
research when you could just open up the Word of God and God told you right there? You have to go out and do research.
Exactly.
That would be like trying to test God. You can't test God. I mean,
James, why think when you could have a book that does it for you?
Yeah, you always going around asking, okay, how did God create a rabbit? I don't care how God created a rabbit. Books say, God say rabbit, poof rabbit. That's it. That's all you need to know.
Poof rabbit. A book
Don't need to know
did say
anything
a
more
thing.
than that. Yeah, that's it.
James, it's called the good book for a reason.
Or was Ken Hovind? He was looking at some kind of
Oh, you don't have to tell me twice. I saw his browser history. What?
oh, we know, yeah, some kind of hair worm, the other day on one of his streams, and he was just enamored with how complex it is. And I'm like, this is your thing? You're saying this worm is designed by God, right? Look at this amazing
Look at this worm.
Yeah.
Look at this creationist squirm. But sending love, Pat, and also sending love to Dale Pastel. Woo! What's up, Dale? Thank you so very much, because he is reminding us that we're kind of looking for a little bit of empirical evidence. That's all we're looking for. Sending love. Also, I saw Randolph Richardson out there. Two things. First of all, I found a gentleman on Discord today that has a Discord server that is dedicated to convincing atheists to try and convince us that a God is real. And I'm like, hey, that sounds very familiar, because Randolph Richardson and Taco run their own fantastic stream where I get to be a panel member, and I am so happy to do so, because we have a lot of fun along with T-Jump and Peter, JL Warren, a whole bunch of fantastic non-believers, skeptics. We have a deist on there who is great for countering pre-suppers. Just a fantastic time. And so go check that out. I cannot keep on shouting that. As Pat,
that's right, Pat.
Sending love to Pat, isn't it?
Bronze Age, Pat, right?
Yes.
Pat always corrects me when I
inaccurately
attribute something to the Bronze Age that was the Iron Age. This time it's valid Bronze Age.
Valid Bronze Age, baby. But as Randolph says, that's right. It is a fortnight. Woo!
Oh, if it's a Fortnite goddess, Fortnite goddess. There you go. It's a
we don't have a lot of people
Richardson
trying to convince us that a goddess is real. We're trying to get more goddesses. Though I did talk with a Muslim today
one goddess
who said I might have. Woo! Cat. We did I did talk with a Muslim who said God was genderqueer today, who I always joke. I'm always like, there you go. You're a postmodernist. Oh, my goddess. We see our...
Amy's muse has
our friend. I would call him my boy toy, but I can't take credit. Maybe another girl deck will get him one day. He'll come out. Sending love. No, we love all our theist brothers and sisters out there.
He's anxious to get a taste of that girl sausage.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with that by BT Dubs. I think, if you are looking for a feminine version, nice, pretty, smooth, but, has a little bit of length. I feel like for bisexuals, I mean, it's the peanut butter of the chocolate. What were we talking about? Anyway, sending love to Dale and sending love to Dave Gar. Woo!
Dave Gar.
Yo, what's I see also computers saying I used to go on Ime Dawa all the time. I've had almost a personal. I gave up.
Say,
I had like something in me.
Where he came from.
So we used to have a bunch of people that would come on there. A lot of the nationalists would come from the Muslim streams that I would go on, surprisingly, or unsurprisingly, because I'm finding a correlation with that. A lot of them lean socially conservative once you go down that fundy route. But I kind of gave up on him because I used to take it. I call it, I guess, secondhand personally, because my brother, he's someone else's brother from another mother to my brother from another mother, and like I wanted so back because I view all these religions. A good Joe Rogan quote. He may not be a philosopher, but you want to know the difference between a cult and a religion? Well, in a cult, the leader knows that he's full of shite. In a religion, that guy's dead. And so I feel it. I feel the cult-like of all these religions. And I knew Khalil at least for like a month while he was Justin. And so I just saw a radical change in how he dressed and behaved and acted. And it's just the kind of things that you see when someone goes under a transformation into a cult. And but
he's got his uniform now, and
once I learned
he gets
that
destroyed regularly by just about anybody who comes on, and that's it. And that's the thing. Oh yeah, Monkey Marshall. That's the thing with.
It wouldn't surprise me.
With them.
There's more.
They get more and more. Yeah,
radicalized.
Go down that path.
And funny enough, he came in. He started I remember the first month he came out. He was like, "I'm going to be the most liberal. I'm going to be the most because he said empathetic atheist. I'm going to be the most empathetic Muslim you're going to see. I'm going to prove that." And now he has all sorts of weird views. Like once
you go down that rabbit hole.
Once you go, yes. Well, he'll tell you that, like, you see, because he's the go-to atheist debater on that channel. His buddies will oftentimes debate Christians and Jews and Hindus. But Khalil will debate atheists, even when they have him on panels, because he has unorthodox views that are much hard. He'll tell you that Adam and Eve were the first men, even though he believes in evolution, but Adam and Eve did exist, and that they were the first people to have souls. I don't know what to do with that. It's like, I mean, cool. I guess you believe in you started out with evolution, but like everything after that, it's like it just sounds like you're making this up as you go along. You've become the regular traditional cafeteria. I'm making this epistemological theology as I go along.
What is my
That's in love, computer
episode of MST3K, and you know what he's referring to, Amy?
Say that again.
Science Theater 3000.
Oh, I love Mystery Science Theater 3000. I almost view that's kind of what we do. When we watch religious content, that is kind of, that's our vibe, hopefully.
I mean, there's Hobgoblins is a really good one. The Final Sacrifice was good old Zap Rousdower. How could you forget that one?
It's the
Mitchell, that was Joel's last episode, the Joe Don Baker movie. Then there was Final Justice, the second Joe Don Baker movie. that they roasted that was also really good.
Oh, I just noticed.
Time Chasers was hilarious. Yeah.
Well, and I guess I was gonna play I'm gonna play my fancy graphic because we're gonna do it right now. Officially, Dave Gar is our first question, which means we are starting the show. We are, in fact. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. That's how Gizmo earns that fancy catnip. But yes, Dave Gar, sending love. Our first question of the night. Yeah. James was asking your favorite episode of Mystery Science Theater 3000.
You remember any come to your mind?
Oh, so I cannot name a specific episode. I can only tell you that I've watched dozens, and I am a big fan. Like, I just love that entire format. I wish they made stuff like that, and so I just would like to I feel like we're channeling that kind of vibe.
Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. That was another. And then there was another one just called Santa Claus that was also
just called Santa Claus.
Yeah, Final Justice was a Joe Don Baker movie, and so was Mitchell. That movie was. And then, of course, the movie from '96, This Island Earth. That was, of course, a good one.
Adjacent, I would like more skeptics, non-believers, more. If not us, we will go out there and make more Monty Python-like content. I love that kind of Mel Brooks type of movies. Those type of really roasting type of jokes. But thank you so much, love, Dave Gar. You said I can see that you're typing from your phone. Completely understand, but keep on hitting us up if you would like. In fact, if you are a channel member, if you are a Patreon, feel free to tag us with questions, and we'll show them up on screen. If you are a viewer or subscriber, just talk with us in chat, and we'll keep on talking with you because we are having fun with the entire Skeptic and Ranting community. But our recent BFF, as we have learned on the last episode, from Upside Down Guide, raise your hand if you don't have ovaries. Now, I love this because, wait, can I go like this? Can I kind of go like this? Because I'm actually intersex. Now, technically, I do not have ovaries. That is true. However, I do have a hypostadius, which means that the tip. Also, if you, this is my
I'm sure he's familiar with it.
Oh well, he definitely he learned at least one. I don't know if they were intersex, but he definitely got a girl D. But yes, so it means that the head, if we could just break down the male genitals into just 3 parts, and who doesn't? If you have the balls, the shaft, and the head, then my head is actually messed up, and I actually have a little bit of flaps to which you can open. So which, even though, so my genitals are actually different than yours, as just a regular biological male. Nonetheless, I understand that you're trying to just take a dig at my non-intersex transgender sisters. Not my brothers. You don't care about transgender. But look at this, ladies and gentlemen. In case we didn't tell you, in case we weren't upfront enough, this gentleman behind stage told us that he sucked a big old girl D. Yeah. So this is the gentleman that, after going and trying to, call us agates and all this stuff behind stage, it turns out he may or may not be on the LGBTQ spectrum. So he had to bring it up. He had to spend $2. Ladies and gentlemen, he had to spend money. When we talk about 9 out of 9 dentists, like James, it's literally, it Ask Me Anything. Like we talk about theology, we talk about science,
Religion,
philosophy.
conspiracy
I'm going to talk
theories.
about my angel book tonight. But
No,
what was on
reproductive
this
system.
young gentleman's mind, ladies and
Them
gentlemen?
ovaries.
He had to put $2 right down here. I appreciate it, actually. I think you should. Oh, I see you sending more. Do you want to talk more? That's okay. You find it disgusting, right? You're repulsed. I feel repulsed, don't you?
He's up in the ante. He's up in the ante.
He is. Okay. Oh. I see. Oh. Ladies and
I
gentlemen.
can't imagine him being drunk.
Man, my brother. I tried so hard. We didn't even say it was you. But I love you. I mean, listen. Like, we want you to be out. Be a theist who likes the girl D. Or don't like the girl D. You tried it and you were like, it wasn't for me. I just like manly D. I'm just kidding. Maybe you like vagina. Go like vagina. Who cares? Be yourself.
Yeah.
But he says it's drunk. It doesn't count. Actually, if the balls don't touch, I don't think it counts either. I'm pretty sure. Maybe if it does touch, maybe it only counts if they do touch. I'm not sure.
Got Rebel Nazarene out there having the audacity to claim about NASA for showing fake videos. I mean, he would never ever show any type of fake video footage. His integrity is much higher than that.
I'm breaking. I shouldn't be showing, but that's so funny. Yeah, I'm not. It's not gay if you say jinx afterwards. That's exactly right, Shane. What is up? And yeah, can I not just send love to Rebel because I saw something that made me laugh. Someone was like, "Who the hell is that moderator?" in the comments section, and someone was like, "Why, that is NASA's most fantastic shill ever." It was Rebel? Funnier, even better. Well, I don't think it was Rebel, but I just love how I'm starting to get, I would say, some fans in the flat Earth community. I'm sending so much love, Rebel.
Yeah, you've become the queen of the flurf.
The queen of the flurfs, baby.
Not a crown that you want.
I like to think I'm
hoisted upon your head.
Queen of turfs, queen of flurfs. Two people who love to get triggered. But no, we would never. That's right, Mark. Bring on that girl D. Because I'm fairly sure all of the people who hate transgenders, that's all they seem to think about. I don't know why. I don't understand it.
I mean, it's like the first thing they think about when they wake up in the morning is like, oh, these damn trannies, they're oh.
But we welcome you, Upside Down Guy. I want to thank you for the support that you just sent us. We hope that you find love. Like I said, you can be politically incorrect on your channel, though you could also accept who you are. We want both of those things. Oh my goddess.
Fake asteroid note.
Thank you. See, send and welcome. We love, as long as you don't break the TOS gods. That's the only thing. Spoiler alert, the Queen of Flat crown is spherical. That's right, Dave Gar. Dun dun dun.
A sombrero.
But yes, I'll keep on saying a few more, keep on sending in tagging, and we'll read those questions on the screen, and I'll get through this whole list, and by the time I get through the list, it'll be story time, ladies and gentlemen, but hopefully it'll be interesting enough. I mean, I'm confident. I'm gaining confidence because there is, although it's a rough cut, I like to think there's no meat. I was worried because you want it to actually be a decent-sized book. You don't want it to be 10 pages long.
Yeah.
But at the rate I'm doing it, I think I'll at least cross 100.
You just gotta sizzle that meat in the pan for the right amount of time.
That meat.
You know?
I know. I don't want filler. I want as much as it needs to be.
You want to cook it for like an hour.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I will say, I don't, not to give, while
That
we're
would be like
giving
well
shout
done.
outs to random people, but
That
if
would be some well
anyone
done.
happens to be tall, dark, and handsome and they want to keep their camera on for like significant portions of time on any of our future open mics, they
you're welcome
should.
to do it. You'll enjoy the view.
That's right. Randolph with his puns.
Oh, upside down guy. He really doesn't like those piercings you got. They really trigger him.
I don't get it. Then don't date someone. I forget I had a lip break. My joke is always people look at these and they're like, you want to be counterculture. And once again, my tongue and choke cheek joke is always no, baby. I'm culture. No. To me, it's always just been I have a long face. I've always had. I've had jokes ever since I was a kid. Why the long face? And so it's just accessories on my face. It's breaking it up. It's just more jewelry. I forget the accessories. Exactly. It's not because I don't love my daddy. It's just, in fact, the fact that they're black, I picked specifically because it just matches with everything. I like the contrast with the white, very light skin that I have, and so it's more just it is completely and 100% superficial, artificial, whatever you want to insert. I was once asked the question actually recently, speaking of which, because some of the Discord debate channels that I'm in, they're starting to get the fact that the identity politics just I have no stench of it. They try and get me. It doesn't work on me. And someone was like, if
you have no desire to play in that pool, but they try to keep dragging you into that pool.
I have become a stronger debater in that field because they have you have to. They drag you into it. I almost have to talk about it to get them to go into apologetics. I have to break down those sort of questions. I'm sorry. And see, I'll tell you, the only questions we're reading tonight are from our Patreons, channel members, our super chats. So I'd love to answer that question, but man, I feel like I just need like $1 bill shoved down, like right. I don't know.
Or
I would love. I'm not
$50
a biologist. I'll trigger you even more. So I guess how would I know unless you super chatted? Oh my! Send in love.
Yes, Monkey for Banana. Tell them about those fake chariot wheels.
Who were we? What was the last one? Dale and Dave Gar. Sending so much love, Dave Gar.
Figure up the Scott Duke.
Stop at just one. That's right. Why stop at one? Go all of them. No. We will take whatever people have. It helps us. However, if you are in a rough spot right now and can't afford anything, we hope we're just making good content for you. We will never charge for our content. Everything's always going to be free. And so we want to make it work. And it has. The actual community, including all of the you'll hear a lot of bitching about YouTube and Twitch and all this stuff, how all of these people are trying. It's such hard times. James and I have had the exact opposite experience. I don't know. We say really naughty stuff.
Yeah. We're not anywhere near the level like where it would. We're not like a big player or anything. I guess if you're a channel and you're pulling in 10,000, 15,000 a month in ad revenue, I mean, then demonetizing some of your videos or limiting ads on it really might hurt you. But we're not doing this full time, so.
Yeah, and
They have been good to us so far.
I'm trying to give people a guesstimate. I even want to do videos. I think people have an interest in that kind of stuff. I think we are at the point where it's almost $30-ish from ads a month, which is, we're getting up there, which is pretty cool. Because you just start with making pennies.
I think it's a little less, but yeah.
I guess that might have been the Social Blade analogies that I was looking at. I'd have to look. I'd actually have to look into the actual breakdown. But most of our things come from super chats and from channel memberships, Patreons, all of that stuff. Though we've been very lucky. Like I said, it's gone from us doing this, just you and I, into a void where there was no one, and then every once in a while there'd be like a person, and it'd be just us and the one person in chat, to a community of people out in chat, to our first chat. I sending love out there. I know KO Champ was our first supporter, truly our first
he was
Patreon.
He basically was one of the early guys.
He basically said, throw me a link and I'll sign up. And I think I accidentally sent him the wrong link. And he's like, what the fuck is this? And even after me sending the wrong link, he signed up and was the first. And my first I signed up was Modern Day Debate. I've been a Patreon ever since because those two things I felt like if I could be a supporter in someone else, people could be a supporter in us. And that has been the same ever since. So we're sending love.
There you go.
Speaking of love, and he used that not to even answer the biology question, which I thought was coming, but we're answering it. We're sending love. We appreciate the support. Another $2 super chat from Upside Down Guy. Hey, what is your favorite color and why? That is a great question. I have the stereotype one and the actual one. I like to you would think, joke, pink should be my favorite color because we'll get into, it's the AMA. I can get as kinky as I want. Yeah. But the good old bimbification fetish out there, whether towards myself or towards others, you would think it would be pink. Nonetheless, my actual favorite color is teal. I like teal. I think it's a pretty color. I often get teal in a lot of my accessories and a lot of my nails. And so that's always just been that. No, I love that. Like I said, they can pronoun me whatever they want because my joke is always like, you know what my preferred pronouns or whatever the fuck you want to call it is. And so
it doesn't even have to post it. You guys know
if it's that important to them that they have to pronoun me wrong, it means that they need it more than I do. Like they're in a place right now that is a lot worse, less healthy than I am. And so I just take that as a notch. So I love those. But in fact, thank you for the support. Sending so much love.
And that's true. Dave Gar says he's been a Patreon since Bible study number 12. That was Dave Gar's been a Patreon for a long time.
Dave Gar, I will say, Dave Gar is a long-term supporter.
Yeah.
Not only that, Dave Gar, I've seen you around for this debate circuit.
Been around for a while.
I love so many of your comments. There's been one, especially on Modern Day Debate, where I can't say anything because I need to be the good. I can't even allow myself to admit that it's funny, but you do. You crack me up. Speaking of which, Upside Down is getting to use his pity pronouns. That's right. He's letting this out. Once again, though, Mark, how funny is this shit? Like, it is without a doubt the only people that bring it up are these anti-LGBTQ advocates. And once again, I was getting some flack at the beginning of the recent trans debate. It was a trans debate in which I was modding, and I will admit when James asked me to mod that debate, my first instinct was like, oh shit, I'm gonna mod. Okay. And that, but then within my second thought right after that was like, you know what? I'm unbiased. I really am. I'm unbiased to all these things. It doesn't matter what the debate is. Because I appreciate the interlocutors. I want them to be fair. And so I do fight when I hear them say things that I disagree with. I
want to jump in and
I don't make a face, and when I hear things I agree with, I want to nod. But you won't watch me do that. You won't watch me nod to any points that I agree with. Hopefully, I really do. You won't watch me smile. I try hard. Sometimes there are very specific things I'll let myself break if I feel that it's natural. But I'm almost trying to invoke either that cold steel, the blue steel from what the fuck is that movie from where he's a supermodel, Ben Stiller, fucking Zoolander. He only has one look, and the look is always And that's so. And I get people sometimes that are always everyone's like Zoolander. I get people sometimes, at least very early on, that they were like, Amy never smiles when she mods a debate. It's like, yeah, there's a reason. Because when you smile, when you laugh,
that poker face.
You give people points. And so I'm not trying to laugh. I'm not trying to nod my head. I am trying to be fair. I thought that long story short, that Sunflower even complimented me by the end of the debate. It was like, you read the questions fairly and all this shit.
And I mean, this last trans debate, it wasn't like, are trans identities valid or should trans people be executed?
Well, and I'll tell you,
it was more of a nuanced topic.
It was because it went less spicier. I think that it was originally titled, I do believe, should trans kids or should kids transition or something like that. And I don't think that wasn't what one was prepared to debate, and so it became something less spicy. I still think it was a good debate between the two interlocutors.
But it is a more nuanced topic.
Yes.
Than just are trans people valid as human beings, or something like that. It's more of a where you're
debating. That's so funny. So Randolph, it's so funny you're saying you're taking the affirmative on a Santa Claus is real, because I have a theist who'll tell you that Santa Claus is real and that's why God is real. It's like they are a presup deist. I can actually see your view on that. I could almost see that. I think that Santa Claus would not be real if humans were to die. So if we weren't there, but yeah. What's up, Carlitha?
Hey, Carlitha.
What is up? What is up, Skywatcher? What is up, everyone out there? We'll keep Rebel, on saying. I brought his question up, but an official hi to Mark anyway, who's been kicking ass and taking names. He's been going around on the debate circuit lately.
Yeah, he ran over Darth Dawkins with the Mack truck and reversed and ran over him again just for good measure. Poor Darth. Poor Rebel Nezarene.
Poor Darth.
Poor Rebel.
But we're also going to keep on sending in those question comments or one-liners. I am going to also send love to Scott Duke, reminding you that we are animals. I don't know what to tell you. We are, in fact, animals.
It triggers them. They don't like it.
It does trigger them. They go, "Oh, we Art, you gonna tell me that my grandma's a monkey?" No, we're telling you that we are apes. Your grandmother's an ape, your mom's an ape, and you are an ape. I'm an ape. We're all apes. Deal with it. Also, sending love to Regos. Woo! I know, I'm proud to be an ape too.
Regos.
It's always like a crocodile tear. It's like a fox, like you calling me that. When really, it's an amazing thing. You're telling us we're pond scum.
I mean, it's literally no different than calling you a mammal. If somebody says you're a mammal, you're like, well, yeah, of course we're mammals. That's not anything.
Not an insult.
Why would anybody have a problem with that? But we're also apes. You get the apes, and then all of a sudden they have a big problem with it. Like,
yeah. But also thank you
category.
to Regos, reminding you that we have a skeptic Bible study. And oh my Lord, is it not?
We do.
Not convincing us with all the wisdom that it has. Yes, we are in Deuteronomy. It's been fun though to read all those dukes in order. And speaking of the Bible, sending love to the fabulous, wonderful, and amazing Rachel Holland, who reminds us that the Bible has non-consensual slavery, not the fun kind where, whips and chains and someone gets permission to come at the end. Yeah, fuzzy handcuffs and everything. No, it's the taking slaves from the nations around you. Not really the cool kind. But also...
SFT was...
oh my.
He asked me the other day if I'd be open for a slavery debate.
Oh my.
I said, sure. I don't know. Maybe he's got one of those coming up for me.
And I will
send
him
that
an email
any day and twice on Sunday. It will not be your grandmother's slavery debate.
Grandma's slavery debate.
No, it'll be.
But I also sent SFT an email saying that I'm ready to pick or get some dates. So I think this month is the month, baby. So looks like more debates upcoming soon. But also sending love to Regos, Rachel, and Senator Cato. Woo!
Cato.
Boom, boom. Reminding us that we appreciate the separation of church and state. Really, everyone should appreciate the separation of church and state. Not your grandma's ape slavery debate. Woo-hoo. And sending love. So,
I'm down in South Florida. We have a hurricane coming through the state. I'm on the other side of the state where it's making landfall, but it is still a little windy outside. Hearing things fly by every so often.
Have you seen any witches on brooms? No?
Actually, two. Yeah. Friends of yours. Probably.
Friends of mine, probably.
Yeah, friends of yours.
We get together. I can't help it. I'm a basic witch. What's up, X Music?
And Hillary, I would say 92. It's definitely not anywhere near that high. Yeah.
Listen, we do not mind anyone with a room temperature. What were we speaking of? No, we love all of our theists out here. Atheists, theists. Yeah. Oh my. Another. Hold on. Here we go. Thank you. So another two.
Rachel,
I know. Rachel, get in and just throw money on me.
Your bra. For you.
Don't tempt her. She will be all too happy to oblige. Another $2 from Upside Down Guy. Thank you for the support. Do you prefer eggplant or soy milk more? Oh my. Well, it's funny nice you ask. Latte. I actually enjoy for breakfast a nice big eggplant with my soy latte. That's right. I can't help it. You see, I go both ways. I like a big old eggplant, and then I just can't help but drinking some soy.
Eggplant
No,
parmesan
Rebel,
is really good.
Rebel.
Like an eggplant parm sandwich.
I
That's
love you,
amazing.
and sending love to Rebel. That is the point of the show. Sending love out to you. We will talk to everybody. We will talk to subscribers and viewers and anything. But if you want your comment actually shown on screen, then you have to be a channel member, a Patreon, or send in a super chat. But if you're a channel
show
member,
of the month we do it.
we only
every
do
other
this,
show we show every comment,
everything exactly. But this is kind
almost
of our
to a
love
fault.
letter to our supporters. Exactly, like James said, we almost show to a fault. We show everybody in a viewpoint.
We show more than we
but
should, but be that
this
as it
is
may,
our love letter to our supporters. This is the access. One of the benefits you get by being a channel member, a Patreon, or just sending in super chats. But we'll talk to you. Say whatever you want. We're keeping on. You don't have it to show it on screen to address it. We're talking to you. But if you're asking specific questions, send in love them.
The only thing I've seen is the stupidity about CGI and.
Yes, well, if you want us to really be specific about it, that's the whole point of the show. But it's also, as hard as you are going, you are actually, you've just been joining us, so this might be your first time here.
You've got to come up with a little bit better than just
And
CGI.
this is just episode 4. So this is one of our new shows. We're having fun. We actually, the first time we did it, it was just completely private, and it was just James, myself, and James Wolfe. It was a 3-person party. It was a 3-way, which was a fantastic. Exactly at that one. But the moment we realized, you know what, let's just turn it on to everyone. Why don't we just keep on fulfilling the promise of actually giving all of our content out? And it worked, and everyone is now along for the ride. So thank you so very much, Upside Down Guy. But welcome, Rebel. Like we said, we love you here. We love the opposition viewpoint. You are a creationist and a flat earther. You are what all of the atheists want to talk to in the chat, because we can't help ourselves. I would say the funny thing is when we go on to theists, when I think we go on to flat earthers, in my opinion, we get a lot of flack. The viewership sometimes goes down because we're arguing, but it's like the exact opposite. When creationists and people who disagree with us join the channel, atheists and skeptics just eat it up. They're like, oh my God, all these atheists just talking to each other. Get a theist, get a theist.
I mean, look, Rebel, we go over your silly talking points all the time. Every show we show your ridiculous things that you put in chat. Trust me, it's nothing that's is giving anybody a hard time. Is your belief in the globe any way threatened by anything he's ever posted or said?
Probably not.
No.
Oh,
but we encourage you to keep trying because we actually enjoy it. And
I see that Upside Down Guy. Give me 1 second. I do want to bring up a question from James Wolfe. Thank you so very much from the support. It says, Amy and James, who is your favorite apologist? I'm going to answer this in like 3 kind of ways, and then I'm going to hand it over to James. Because, I think I would just say I think there's 3 wheelhouses that I have seen. I'm not even sure they're my favorite, and yet I would say they're the 3 branches of apologetics that I see. You know what? I'll even give on an extra bonus one. There is the one that I will say is the rhetoricist. A lot of people like Kent Hovind because he reminds me of kind of a Whitsitt or a Nathan in that they are the rhetoricists. They learn their talking points and they say them over and over and over, and they're very good at making very dumb things sound good by saying them confidently. There is the Darth Dawkins school of apologetics, the pre-sup angle. I think this is actually less popular because although Kent is probably going to end up in jail one day, more people, I think, like his approach because he sounds like a guy you can drink a beer with. He sounds like a normal guy. He makes jokes. He will at least mute himself for at least a goddamn second. Where with a pre-supper is just trying to get you to just really trying to move through the strokes so that they can get to you.
You can have a beer, Amy. I've never tasted alcohol. Maybe I had NyQuil a couple times. I think
the wife abuse makes it a million times worse than a pre-supper. But
Atheist Junior did a video.
But just that. But if we're just talking like schools of thought, and then I would say the third is like the William Lane Craig academic approach, the people that try and either push a kalam or even from the way like a Stephen Meyer from a philosophical approach or a genetic entropy from what Sal's daddy. Sal has a daddy. The guy who shipped genetic entropy is
Jason
who he learned his.
Behe.
Someone will say, and the Behe is irreducible complexively. I forget who. So someone in chat will eventually shout out who Sal learns this from. And so those are my three schools of thought that I just see very prevalent. And then my bonus will just be a almost a metaphorical woohoo type of
Iron Horse
theist. Yeah, an Iron Horse. What is the kid? I'm thinking of who is Commander Woo Woo. A Deepak Chopra. So those are kind of the big headliners that I think of in the four schools of thought. But James, did you have anything? Either I named a lot, so you could be some of those, but anything.
I don't know. I mean, like people that we've picked apart on this channel, like we deal with like just regular pastors, not just apologists. But I mean,
John C. Sanford. Thank you, Mark.
Guys like Bob Larson putting out their fake exorcist videos, that really comes to mind. Grifting, extorting money from people. Guys like the prosperity preachers, Kenneth Copeland, Benny Hinn, Creflo Dollar. These guys making millions of dollars off of some of the lowest income people around. Guys like Ken Hovind, pseudo cult leaders. I think those
are probably, now that you mention it, that's one of the filthiest. That you can just feel the sleaze coming off them.
But even
making paychecks off people who probably are on food stamps.
A lot of them, yeah. But even like even somebody like Ray Comfort, who is he doesn't come across as slimy as a lot of those guys, but
sure,
just like his rhetoric that he puts out. Like, what was that video? Like that episode we did last week about is King Charles the Antichrist? And like I said, whether you're for the monarchy or against it, it's irrelevant. I mean, they're intelligent people on both sides. It's neither here nor there. But
and you won't find, I think, many Americans who support monarchs. But it's just about being a decent person to someone who died.
It's their country. It's the form of government that they've had. They've had it for over 1,000 years. It is what it is. But the as soon as the Queen dies, and then the question is, he's got to put up a video like, is she right now being tormented in hell to be there forever? When she's not even buried in the ground yet. It's just so.
They're salivating over people burning. That's kind of Christian love for you.
Actually, yeah, that's the funny thing. What Khalil was getting beat up by a Hindu guy today, and the guy is like, so God, he didn't have to create anything, but he decided to create everything, and he decided to do that in a way that would end up with lots of people being burnt forever in hell. And Khalil's like, yeah, okay. He's like, well, why is that's not good? He's like, Khalil's like, why would that not be good? What's wrong with that? Maybe that's what God wanted to do. Maybe he wanted a bunch of people to be tormented in hell forever. Why would that be a bad thing? If that's what he wants, he's God. He gets what he wants. Yeah, which is the mafia boss argument, but taken to its actual extreme. Usually they don't go quite that far with it, but he was just going all in on the boss. You don't want to mess with the boss, Amy.
James, you want to mess with this complaint department?
Nobody.
I do not think so.
Nobody messes with the boss.
But speaking of messing with the boss, for $5, Upside Down Guy, send in more love, says, do y'all think the NASA DART asteroid footage was real the other day? Why, yes, we do. In fact, if you haven't seen it, you can Google, and it does a fantastic, it tips the page for you. They have a thing, and then I was trying to find very just quick footage.
Why would it not be real?
Oh, because clearly we are meeting someone that we met in a flat we found out where he which debate he learned about us from. It's a flat earth one.
Upside Down Guy?
Yes. Hold on 1 second as I prepare. Pushing buttons, folks. Getting Gizmo to bring this up. There we go. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Talking about this right here. And yes, that is real. Yeah, amazing. That is real footage.
CGI.
Obvious CGI is obvious,
CGI.
right?
Right.
But we do thank you for the support. We're sending so much love. Oh, is that another? Is that? I just noticed that was another.
Yeah.
Oh my! Well, sending love for this one. Thank you so very much, Upside Down, for the continued support. We are both paid NASA shills, and so we got to do what we got to do. Soros pays our check somehow. But also another $2 super chat from Upside Down Guy. YouTube is whack. I can't sub to your OnlyFans. Oh my, that's because I only have an OnlyFans? No, I actually have a Patreon, though, where everyone can go at patreon.com/Amy Newman, which helps us make even more amazing content. So thank you so very much, Upside Down Guy. Or feel free to become a member with all of our tiers. It doesn't matter. You get evolving badges.
We'll remember this one.
Again, this conversation is being recorded.
Thank you so very much, Upside
First
Down
thing
Guy.
he did is he's like, this isn't being recorded, is it?
Is it? No.
Yeah.
No. But and we weren't even gonna we didn't even elucidate to who he was, but he's back in black and sending a T-girl money. So I guess I can't hate too much.
Pat's got a question though.
Maybe Rachel and I'll have a boy toy by the end of this night. What? We weren't just sending love. Pat is saying the real funny thing is that ancient Hebrews didn't even believe in the concept of hell until they were conquered by the Macedonians and started reading all of that Greek literature. You
And
read that Greek literature, and there ain't no turning back. But yes, I am a little angry. There's a lot to blame the Jews on. I love my Jewish parents. They are fantastic. They're both mensches, but we would not have Christianity, Islam, Mormonism. I guess in that case, one of the Book of Mormons. So, you win some, lose some.
You're reading like in the Old Testament, like at least the way we're up to, there is not even like a hint about a hell yet. And
Nope.
Don't you think if there was like a place like that, that would be like one of the first things God would tell you about? Like, but he hasn't seen fit to bring it up yet. I wonder why.
Could it be?
Nobody's out there telling anybody, hey, look, you got to convert to Judaism and be anxiously awaiting this Messiah, or God's going to kill you and do mean things to you after you're dead.
And that is the often one thing I give Yahweh. He is a dick, but he'll let you die.
In the Old Testament,
at least after you're dead, you are done. But like with the, post-gospel, oh man, you're in this to win this, whether you want to or not. Like the game, the Hunger Games just begin when you die.
And you're playing the game whether you want to or not.
Whether you want to or not, much like the Hunger Games. But sending so much love, Pat.
That's why I always said, as a Christian, I think the most evil thing a Christian could ever do would be to have a child. And why is that?
Yeah,
because
indeed.
Nobody asked to be born, right? You are brought into this world. Nobody asked you, no consent of your own. You're just brought into the world through the actions of others. And then as soon as you can learn how to form coherent thoughts, they come to you and say, hi. Yeah, now that you can understand, we just have to tell you that there's this God, and he sent his son to die for all the naughty things that you did, and we can't show you evidence of it, but it really, really did happen, and you just really, really have to just believe it. And if you don't, then after you die, you're going to go to hell and be burnt forever. So you better just believe it, right? And so that all Christians, they're presented with that. But some people, for whatever reason, are just not going to be able to believe that. They're just not going to be able to wrap their heads around it. They are just not going to be able to surrender their cognitive abilities and believe it. So by bringing someone into you are risking that person being tormented forever, because if they, through no fault of their own, they're just not convinced by it, they can't bring themselves to believe in it. Oh, well, God, he gives no fucks. He doesn't care. He will burn you just the same as anybody else. It really doesn't care. It's all the same to him.
Hell, he might like it. You don't know. Or
according to Khalil, yeah, maybe he does. And what was it? They were debating salvation on SFT last night. No, they were debating annihilationism versus eternal torment in hell. And somebody commented in chat like, oh, is annihilationism just an easy way out for the non-believer? Now, according to annihilationism, you'll be burnt to death in a fire. I don't think that's really an easy way out. I think that's probably pretty terrible. But is it better than burning forever? Yeah, it's immensely better than burning forever, but it's not an easy way out. But be that as it may, is it an easy way out for the person who was born into a tribal culture that was outside outside of the Christian sphere, never heard about God, never heard about anything like that, got eaten by a jaguar when they were 10 years old, and then because they were not Christian, they went to hell. Is that an easy way out for them? Should they be burning there forever because God made up the rules and they didn't believe in Jesus, so that they still have to die and go to hell? He gives no fucks. Whatever. He's not the one burning.
Yeah, he's up there being king.
Yeah, he's not the one down there burning. He doesn't care. He's not going to make any effort to make sure they even hear the gospel. He doesn't care. He literally does not care. Whoever hears it, hears it. If they believe it, whatever. Am I going to give them evidence? No, I'm not going to give them evidence. They just have to believe it anyway, or they can suck it. I don't care.
Suck it.
Yeah.
But also sending love. What is up, Materialist Dan? Welcome home. We are having some fun.
Did we finish the
asking
Patreon?
us anything or saying we got two more.
Two more. Yeah.
I do want to just also send love out there to Beamsy out there on the Twitchosphere, who
on Twitch?
Reminds us that it's true. Every sperm is sacred. Every sperm is great. If a sperm is wasted, God gets quite a rate. It's
well,
true.
You do remember that story, what happened when the guy pulled himself out of a woman at that time, and then God saw that. God was not happy at all about that. And God personally came down and killed him. It doesn't say how. I assume he probably dropped a rhinoceros on the guy. I don't know, but it doesn't tell you how.
Probably.
Most likely, but yeah. Not the right move to make.
Unrelated, but look at the bones. But yes, we have two more Patreon supporters, and then I think I'm going to take a quick break. We're going to come back, read more questions, and read my story. Hey, I'm excited.
There you go.
And I realize I may not even need a share screen. I'll just make it maybe story hour. You can skip over all my spelling mistakes. But sending love also to James Wolfe. We saw him out there. He is sending us a lot of love, reminding us that we do a lot of late night podcasts, tend to more than early, though sometimes it's so late it's early. Yes. So sending love. In fact, we have midnight rantings, skeptic and rantings, and Bible studies, all open mic, ladies and gentlemen. Come on. Come all. Just not on my sheets. Thank you, James Wolfe. Woo! And last but not least, Abcdeig. Thank you so very much.
Thanks,
reminding us that there are no creationist models for how a world, a universe, but very specifically a galaxy, solar system, planets, none of this stuff.
There's also not a flat Earth model.
Yeah, exactly. Same with the flat. They're very similar, actually. Question for Amy. Do you rush Great Library? Oh my goddess, that's a great question. I do not rush it. I go for Great Library. I am a mix. I am science, culture, and religion heavy in Civ. You would think religion? Well, I make a religion and I call it memes, and I spread memes.
Civilization?
Yes, because I do believe that's what Dave Garr is asking. Is great library is you have the ability in every game to develop great works. So, early on, you could be the first civilization to develop the Great Pyramids, but only one civilization gets it. So once you do it, and a lot of people rush a bunch of different things, and science is important because I guess it applies even in real life. If the person with better technology often wins in war, and so you need to keep your science high and keep it up. Sending love, Randolph. And you need to keep it high with your military so that you don't get toppled. Oh, we should play one day. See, I play Russia, which has become spicy ever since, but it goes well with science and religion and culture. Those are like Russia's three things. And it also, people are always afraid of me because Russia online is known for funny enough, invading people, even way before all this politics. And so it built me a natural buffer because everyone online is afraid of me, even though I've probably played thousands of hours and I could count on my hand the number of times I've done offensive wars into other people. I've done many. There's always a Hitler in every game. Just to thank you, TOS.
Well,
but there's always some guy.
Other people.
Yes, there's always like a dude on every game that wants to try and take over the world. That you,
I always
have to prepare. Long. A normal game, a short game could probably be 3 hours. Any games could be maybe 6 to 12 hours, maybe longer. Nah, they never last that long because everyone always ends up leaving.
Is there a single player mode for?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You don't have to play
bots.
with people.
It's actually a lot of fun. I play bots sometimes. When people leave, they get replaced with bots. Oh, there you go. Craig Mark says I usually play Make Religion and call it Great Autumn. There you go. See, and I'll tell you, people are funny with religions. I call my memes. If you accidentally call some people who are touchy, like with some religions, they have regular ones like Catholicism and Judaism and all this. But some people will get really touchy, even if they don't have a religion. But don't you fucking spread your thing to me. And so I've found that making it very neutral has found that spreading it makes it very neutral. But yes, thank you to all of our channel members and Patreons, to all of our super chatters, to all of our subscribers and viewers, you guys and our mods. You guys are who make this channel even possible. In a second, we're going to go into Amy Story Hour, but keep on sending in. That's right, those questions in.
You can hear about all the Dukes.
All the Dukes. Iron
Horse streaming naked, yeah.
Yes, twice. They did it twice in one stream, which isn't fair to James. I tease, though it happens so fast that he won't lose monetization or the podcast when he uploads it to Spotify
just
or something like that.
Prestige of having that happen on your stream.
Yes, well, it's not professional. Clearly.
I definitely think Aussie didn't just happen to be in his hot tub when James asked him and he couldn't get out and put clothes on. I think he had clothes on, then James asked him, so he stripped down and jumped in the hot tub. If
that could be possible too.
What I think happened.
But okay, I will be right back, and then we'll break into the fun. But yes, there are now 2 people that have, if we could call it the Gavin Award. Someone has now won the Gavin Award.
It's a fetish.
Ooh,
They've got
Civ 5 is good though.
Kink.
I've been playing, I think, since Civ 4. So Civ 5 is a lot of fun. I've played lots and lots of hours. But I'll be right back. And then we'll jump into Nations of Angels. I'm going to show you guys a snippet from Chapter 2.
A little snippet coming right up. Hope everybody's doing good tonight. Yeah. Hurricane outside, even though it's just tropical storm force winds here. Nothing too bad. They said it was going to rain a lot more than it did. It rained a lot last night, but today, not a lot of rain, just more wind than anything. A lot of places closed, but if you've lived down here for long enough, it's pretty par for the course down here. Not like any of the major storms. Yeah, MDD had a debate on tonight, I think. Yeah, they were debating hell last night on standing for truth, eternal versus Praise I Am was the annihilationist guy, and Turton fan, who is a Catholic apologist, for the eternal torment aspect of hell. Yeah. Los Angeles, no hurricanes, just earthquakes and riots. Yeah, they say there's a big one coming, an earthquake that that I guess they always say that, and they can always be right, but I guess at some point it just will come, right? Choke on eggplant. I'll tell you what, eggplant parm sub. That's amazing stuff right there. Yeah. So I don't know if you, for those of you who were with us last time, Amy has this project that she's been working on for several years. It's kind of like a story she's been working on. She went through the outline of it last time, and it's called Nation of Angels. It's like a fantasy fiction world that she's created, that she has put a lot of time into it. I do have a day job, upside down guy. I do, unfortunately, we're not doing this full time yet, but one day, who knows? But yeah, still work a regular job. And then get to come here and spend time with you guys. Obviously, much more enjoyable streaming on here, but hey, Randolph with the puns. Randolph lighting fires out there in the chat. Randolph. Always with the puns. Five-year plan? I don't know. No. We'll just take it where it goes. However, when we grow, we'll grow steadily, and it's always been more important for us to keep like, we're happy with the community we've had. We haven't grown as fast as some of the channels out there, but we do have a close-knit, tight-knit band of viewers who like the content, who are always coming on a lot. And it gives us a chance to interact with you guys the way that I never want to get so big or so disconnected that we lose touch with, the subscribers.
Absolutely.
You can just see it in a channel. Like, once they get to a certain size, it's almost like they just, I mean, it happens. The side chat just moves so fast. You just really don't get to know the people,
But I think one of the most important pieces of this channel is the skeptic and ranting community. I think that us being able to replace the best elements of religion, because I think it's the only good thing that religion has going for it, really, is that aspect of community support. And so when that's stripped from you, I think it's an important human experience to not only have, we have tradition and family, but then I think we have community, and I think that's
our
just as important.
community.
Our community,
Not based
exactly.
on anything supernatural or anything invisible. It's just based on people.
And I think I'm ready. I can be interrupted, BT Dubs, if you keep on sending in questions, comments, and one-liners. This show is Ask Me Anything, but really Ask Us Anything. That's what AMA is. But you can ask not only either of us any question or make a comment, but we're looking for one-liners as well. If you would like to send those in and try your hand at being something funny. Looking funny, that's me. But saying something funny, that's up to you guys tonight. But we are going to also
Get it, Randolph.
I'm gonna quickly show the outline, and then I'm gonna read it, the story. Then I would like to just show the comparison.
Nailing it, upside down guy. Who keeps his he must have like some kind of tripod like that he sets his phone on that like rotates the phone like around.
See, I have something on
Or
a
he
tripod that
juggles it,
also
like
rotates around, but it's not for camera
juggling the phone
purposes.
because it's always changing different angles. Can't hold on to it more than a second at a time.
And okay, I'm going to show you guys the outline, and then I'm going to show
the outline.
What's the actual thing, because I think it mirrors it well, but you'll see the difference between the plot and the story. So, if you have recently, if you're new to what this Nations of Angels, the story is about a girl who discovers that her entire world was fake, and that there is actually both a more advanced, technologically sophisticated society out there. And so so it's Vincent in the mess room. Actually, I'm trying to think if I should read it first or go over. Vincent in the mess room has to calm Amber down from attacking him with a pipe so he can convince her to go to the deck of his ship. Vincent takes Amber to meet the ship's pilot, a female plant person. Hannah, along with the ship's captain, Angel Samuel, who's trying to explain the reality of the surface world being not terribly different from the ring, except for the superficial things, but is distracted from the reality of the surface, ring of moon. They don't tell people on the surface before her very eyes. In fact, that's perfect. So that actually sets it up fantastically. But we are now going to hear the story version. And once again, sending love out in there into the intertubes. Keep on sending in your questions, comments, and one-liners.
Do it.
Because we are asking me anything or saying something funny. But this is a snippet from Chapter 2 of Nation of Angels. Snippet. The girl. The man was gently swinging his body back and forth, blowing, then slurping some sort of food into his mouth. Amber couldn't help but stare as he tried to move around the green-skinned man, but she wasn't the sneakiest person in the world. So it wasn't more than a few seconds before the two of them could feel each other's eyes staring at each other like a contest. This was broken when the man wipes off his face onto his shirt sleeve, stood upwards. "I'll use this," she said, holding up the pipe towards the man, though he held both hands upwards with both open palms. An awkward smile came across his face. "You're Amber, right? Samuel's told us a lot about you." Her hand was shaking as a bead of sweat came across her forehead. Was this some sort of trick? Amber kept slowly tiptoeing towards the opposite end of the corridor, but the green-skinned man broke his line of sight, then took a bowl over to something looking like a sink with running water. You want me to take you over to the bridge? That's the way, but it's easy to get lost, he said, pointing as the man was approaching Amber. She took a swing at him, only to have him duck, then move forward past, even deeper down the corridor she was heading. I get it. By the way, I'm Vincent. I make things work around here, but follow me, he said, adjusting his glasses, then waving his green hand with purple veins. Though as his back turns, Amber is able to notice he has a massive set of wings, also with cloth around them like a mitten around a glove, before he moves into darkness. Amber's head would turn backwards. She could move back to where she came from, possibly seeing if there was some other way to escape, though a sigh left her airway. Then the pipe she was holding came downward as she went after the man. It was hard to catch up to Vincent as Amber came limping down the last few corridors, only until she came upon the bridge of the ship. How big is this boat? She said, leaning across the rail with her non-pipe holding hand. A smile ran across his face while she made the last few steps. We're not on a boat. Hannah's here. Samuel will probably be down shortly, he said while turning to walk away. But Amber was not ready for the next few moments, because as her eyes came across the clean glass, the lines, the bridge's sight path, it was clear as day they were no longer on the surface of the planet. That's impossible, Amber said, as her hand came to touch the glass, as if she was trying to sense some sort of LCD-like computer screen. She was, of course, ignoring another green-skinned plant person sitting across from her in the pilot's seat. You poor thing, she said, pressing a button, then closing her eyes while shaking her head as the pilot undid her double crossbody seatbelt so she can get over to her guest. They kept all this from you, didn't they? Though it was hard for Amber to pry herself away from the sight before her eyes. Sure, on the surface, most of the geography she was expecting was the same, except from what they... Since on the surface, most of the geography was what she was expecting, except for some spots she was taught were ocean instead of land. Beyond that, everything would the same as a globe in Amber's history class, would be the same as Amber's history. Don't mind, once again, or the raw cut. But what the teachers had not shown her was the massive ring of floating continents around the planet. Oh boy, Samuel said, walking in while lingering on the yee sound he had just made. It's like we're decommissioning someone from North Kingsville, which made Hannah's face sour. Like she had any choice in this. She came closer to Amber, then began rubbing circles on her back, trying to console her as further confusion spread across the girl's face. This may be hard for you to believe, but this is where most of us live. Well, not here, but not on the surface, she said, while Samuel came closer to both of them as his fingers would rub up against his eyes. His wings would flap as if they were adding in on the expression of not wanting to explain logistics. You're An angel, Amber finally said, saying what she could no longer hold in as her look of disbelief went from outside to inside. Yeah, and you're not. Guess which side won that war, kiddo? Though as he said this, he quickly made a clearing of his throat. Well, years ago, reparations now, or something, fight the power. The man made a fist and held it up as if he was fighting a cause, then made a gesture that was obscene. Your religions lie, your governments lie, everyone lies, kid. Almost everything is the same up here, except we're not stuck in 2 dimensions. His hand then made a flying motion, as if to go up and then down again. Hannah let out a long sigh, and she gave a stink eye to Samuel. Our captain is an idiot. Don't mind him. Though as Amber would turn at Hannah, she couldn't help notice that not only did the girl seem her age, but her hair was made out of leaves that were gently blowing as the girl was talking. Yeah, sure, I'm an idiot, but every time I save your asses, frickin' geniuses, Samuel said, pointing at himself, though Amber couldn't help trying to reach out to touch the other girl's hair before her hand slung back the moment the attention went back on her. Before Amber can finish her sentence, Hannah gave a similar awkward smile like the one Vincent had given before. Diana. She made gestures with her other hands as she spoke. We're not apes like you, but our food tastes better. Samuel would then press his lips down, making a sound. We fry things, which instantly makes them better. A rocking of the ship made everything shake before quickly go back to normal. Would be awesome to have a pilot. Hannah would roll her eyes. Almost at the end. She left Amber going back to her seat. It's on autopilot, she said, looking forward while bucking herself back in. War? Amber couldn't help ask, wondering if it was a throwaway comment. Samuel blew his cheeks out with a puff of air, but another look from Hannah and his back went into a straight position. I'll let you guess how long the 7-month war lasted. Aristocrats with wings took over the aristocrats without wings. As Samuel said this, it was hard for Amber not to take her eyes off the massive wingspan folding inward at his back. Seeing this, he then spread his wings into the air as if to stretch. Yeah, the lack of higher ground really did you guys in. Hannah, who had been sitting in the pilot's seat with folding arms, made a clearing of her throat. Homo sapiens are the same species, with the only biological difference being wings. Samuel's eyes would roll into the back of his head. I had a Wingle ex-girlfriend, crazy in bed, crazy in the head. This made Hannah's brow furrow to the top. Language! Samuel made a grunting sound, his own eyes now rolling backwards as he went to a cupboard where a flask was taken out, the top torn off, and his head went backwards, much like in the field before. Hannah, tilting towards Anna, went on talking. And I think this is the last page, ladies and gentlemen. Sending so much love.
Almost at the end, yeah.
They began to discriminate against wingless humans, her eyes squinting for a moment as if trying to recall a name. James Raven was a character in a book, but the laws that came from them were a sophisticated way of solidifying segregation, her voice lowering as Samuel let out a belch. Oh, yeah, because Diana history is nothing but hugs and cuddles. Hannah threw both her hands in the air. That's not the point. Though Amber's attention was torn to returning Vincent, who had a device around his wrist that he was fiddling with. That's not the problem. Tiles, along with the ceiling, became transparent, joining with the windows to reveal the entire landscape before them. Bad laws can use good science. Project Mirror is what has kept you, along with everyone else on the surface, under their control. It took her a moment to understand what she was looking at, but soon after, Amber's eyes were drawn to thousands upon thousands of satellites flying around the planet as if they were dots on a spherical chocolate chip cookie. The mirror means you can't see them, but they can see you. Amber's hands both went to her head. She was clearly losing her mind. This isn't real. This time, her fists went more forcefully into the glass, as if she was trying to make a dent. Hey, it's not only real, you break it, you buy it, Samuel said, wiping away the liquor from his face. Did that suit of fungus look any more real, did you, when he threw you 50 paysecks in the air? Your best buddy sure couldn't handle it. Her eyes suddenly went wide to the memory of last night, came rushing back to her. Kimberly! There we go. And it cuts off.
Sir, this conversation is being recorded.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the giant major portion of Chapter 2. Thank you all for sticking with it. I know it's a lot. And that is probably the hardest chapter. That right there, I feel like it's going to be a lot more glider because it's not in the moment. I have to tell you backstory.
It's backstory.
And backstory is not fun. It always feels cheesy. And so the way that I found is that I make these characters butts up. A character says something, but then because another character has a different point of view, they kind of like not cancel it, but it's almost like they're debating. So you learn history, but you're also getting interesting viewpoints from multiple sides. So the exposition's easier to take in. And so after that, from this chapter, you should have everything on board. I'm not going to often talk about James Raven. He's not a main character in the story, except for the fact that you know about the history. If you wanted to know, it's a document in my wiki I have laying there in case I ever need to recall it or use it for backstory. But yes, I just love. But ladies and gentlemen, it feels so good. I have went through my outline. You have all seen it before. I felt almost bad.
It's real.
And that's what it feels like to translate it. It's not a supernatural process. I'm not great at it. This is really my first crack at writing a book because I've written a screenplay before, but this is my first time writing a book. And so a lot of fun.
How much can they wing press? Are their wings like very muscular? They would have to be.
Well, I would think that it's a muscle just like anything else. And so you're going to have people that have more athletic, I hate to say wingspans, but like in my eyes, their social context, it's weird to Amber the first time. She has to explain it multiple times because we're all just used to seeing wings and it's just feathers. But most of the people view that almost like going shirtless in their culture. And so both
the wings are covered up a lot, right?
Their wings are covered. They wear clothing. And so both the Diana and the Angels both have their wings covered, and they flap a lot less because they most people who even do just regular flying have this kind of jetpack attached to their back that makes it much faster. Though the Wingles, the humans without wings also have can have artificial wings and then a jetpack. There's technology that makes
artificial wings and jetpacks.
In other words, technologically, they could be just as equal as the Angels and the Diana. Yes. In fact, I have.
A super chat that we missed up there.
Oh, send it in. Thank you guys once again for hearing me blabber for all on. Why do all cats have OCD? Because they want everything done perfectly. I cannot agree more. Upside down guy. Thank you so much. I know I could feel the dad joke within Randolph Richardson enjoying that.
Yeah.
But thank you so very much for the support. We're probably going to go on for a little bit longer, just going back to our religious bread and butter and conspiracy theory and superstition. But I can't help it. I'm enjoying this book. It will be eventually. I have high stakes. But just like people associate kind of right now, they think of, they associate Middle Earth with Lord of the Rings, and they associate Harry Potter with wizards, and they associate Game of Thrones with incest. I want to be known as the Angel Lady because there are not many good takes, in my opinion, on angels. I will send love out to one of my personal favorites, maybe the show Supernatural. I think they are maybe one of my favorites, but their shtick isn't just angels. It is, as the title says, it's anything supernatural. And so my angels don't have devils. I have people in here. One of my main villains is uses shadow magic. But even he has a complicated past. Gabriel. As do they all. But good night, Upside Down Guy. It has been a blast having you on with us. Like I said, we are having fun. We have been asking us anything or say something funny. This is kind of our irreverent podcast where we can just talk about whatever we want, and we can just send love to all of our supporters. If you are a channel member, a Patreon, keep on just sending in things you want read on your screen. This is our love letter to you each month. However, if you're just a viewer, a subscriber, a hater, keep on sending the love in the chat. Haters.
Hate comes
and we'll
best
keep
in
on
the form
talking.
of a super chat.
That's right. We have surprisingly had a number of super chat haters.
Yeah,
like we had that one guy. We've turned a fan. Apparently,
Ralph
took down
says,
his podcast. Yeah, we've done Ralph. There was that one guy. Remember, we've done it.
Yeah,
the equivalent of a takedown video, and now he comes on all now.
Comes on sometimes.
He calls himself a skeptic.
What was it? There's I think a ghost debate on Modern Day Debate coming up.
I see that. I'm also hosting a debate Friday. I just have no idea debate what that is.
MDD.
Indeed.
But it says Jen. I wonder, is that Church of Entropy Jen? But
I am more interested in not whether it's Jen, because I would be willing to bet it is Jen. My question is which side?
Yeah, because the other guy, he seems like he would be the ghost proponent, but I thought Jen would be open to that.
No, you know why I don't think it's Jen and why it could actually be her against it is because I think, and this is my asterisk, I could have sworn that James was looking for someone that wanted to defend a specific video. Like they wanted to really put forth something as evidence that they were going to defend. And that doesn't sound actually like a Jen thing to do. As much as we tease her and stuff like that.
She's more like a big picture kind of person.
She's a theorist. She's more theory, more philosophy. And that is just conspiracy theory type of angle, in my opinion. I mean,
this
who knows?
Video proves ghosts, yeah.
Yes, and so we'll see. Right. Exactly. Well, the Panther. I mean, I really encountered pantheism hardcore in my obsession with consciousness. I've been reading. I have a whole cupboard here, which is books, and then on top of that cupboard is I have a cupboard on top of a cupboard, and it's just the books dedicated to consciousness, sentience, things dealing with neurology, and one of them is a book by Sam Harris's wife. In fact, I think the book is right here. It's called Unconsciousness. And it is a fantastic book. But like the last chapter, she leaves it until like the last one.
How long is the book?
It's not very long. It's I'm in the notes of the book by 120, and it's Anika Harris. You can see this is Sam Harris's wife, who is also a neurologist. But her chapters are: is mystery hiding in plain sight? Intuition and illusions. Is consciousness free? Along for the ride. Who are we? Chapter 6. Is consciousness everywhere? Chapter 7. Beyond panpsychism. Okay, at least she goes. And then 8. Consciousness and time. But it was my first time really like reading an academic thing of panpsychism, which she almost does, and she doesn't like give her stamp of approval, but it's like a non-stamp because you are bringing it up.
No, she was saying Sam Harris is a neurologist, his wife.
Yes, I was saying I believe she is. I believe it is where is she? I do have to now. I do want to look up her credentials though, but. Let's see. Her work touches on she is the author. Huh. I could have sworn she was, though I don't see anything on her Wikipedia. It says, well, her work touches on neuroscience meditation. Oh. She's the author, co-founder, key subjects. Huh. I'm not sure. Wait, education. Okay, she is a BFA from New York University. Not sure. I was not very impressed with the chapter, I will say. Like, I was very impressed with her book, but she did not win me over on panpsychism. I do not think that rocks are conscious. It's interesting.
That's where she goes with at the very end.
Well, I noticed that it's actually of 8 chapters, it's chapter 6. But that does kind of. It was, to my memory, it was like you are reading a lot of just the basic questions that we go over, like the hard problem consciousness, and then very end, it was like it almost Xenu'd me a little bit. Felt like that. Just because I don't think panpsychism has a lot of. Wait.
That's where Khalil was getting busted on tonight was his obstinate refusal to.
Can I pat myself on the back for something? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Maybe this is just me. I swear, there are certain concepts that like I haven't heard get a lot of popularity until recently. One of them would be that complexity is not the hallmark of design. Simplicity is, which has been my shtick. And then atheists taking harder cracks at theists that use consciousness so loosely. Because I think for years it has been a word like quantum mechanics that they have just used like a brute force weapon. And I think slowly but surely skeptics are getting more willing to accept a medical definition of consciousness.
Right.
And once you step away from, I'm trying to remember what the philosophical position is, dualism, when you start to step away from a dualist approach, when you, at least in my opinion, mount the mind below the brain, that the brain has to be first before the mind, and you need all that physicality, you drop all this woo-woo starts to drop. All this, they start to, it starts to mean this eternal consciousness at the beginning of the universe becomes medically silly. And more skeptics are taking pot shots, in my opinion, since I feel like we've been going after it. I just take notice of that.
No, it is something that, because there is an element of mystery to it, so it's something that they've used to, like, they're always looking for gaps in our knowledge and understanding to hide their God in. But, like, specifically today, what Khalil was doing with it was, because of course when you're saying that the mind is purely derivative from the brain, so of course he doesn't subscribe to that because he thinks the mind is something else. But then when the brain gets injured, the mind gets injured too. And how did he put it? He's like, oh well, the brain is the tool that the mind uses to interact with the world. So, of course, if the tool is damaged, then it's going to affect how the brain interacts, or how the mind interacts with the world. And that really just doesn't make sense. To have this extra layer there, this tool, this interaction, it really just doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, if you were a god and you were designing that, why would you do that? Design something so that the mind, which is supposed to be like the core of the person, but is affected by the.
It does seem a little bit silly. It also brings up a number of philosophical quandaries when you start to try and add a soul and stuff that just don't make sense, like people who get their personality changes after having brain injuries, just a whole bunch of different things.
What does the soul do? What is its function? What is it? Because as far as we can tell, it does nothing. It doesn't have any impact on anything. So, what, like Office Space, what would you say it is that you do around here? I mean, I'm just saying.
And I often ask, like, if you ask any person, what do you think the utility of having your consciousness is? What do you think it does for the organism? You could just sit there and list example after example after example on what the mechanism of consciousness does for the organism, why it's useful. And yet with a god, well, why is it conscious? Because it has no choice. It's just that's all it is. It's there to there. It's there to exist.
It just is.
It just is. Right. Deep. But yes, also sending love. Randolph, I agree. Deepak Chopra is he loves using that sort of woo. He is basically Commander Woo. And James Wolfe says, is citing an authority, or asked, is citing authority as validating your position, even if they are an authority in the relevant field, a fallacy to any degree? I would say it can be. If you are saying X position is right because so-and-so said so, I would say that is a proper argument from authority fallacy. I would say what the numerous conspiracy theorists specifically don't get when we plead for scientific consensus, the scientific consensus is not an appeal to authority. Now, it's not like things fall to the ground because of the scientific consensus on gravity. but we accept gravity because all of the relevant people in the field have been driven to it under scientific consensus, and it's just us having, at an epistemological standpoint, you have to accept the scientific process. If you do not accept that process, then that's never going to mean anything. These experts are just, if it's just anyone's personal experience, then degrees are just worthless, which is what I find with a lot of the flat earthers, a lot of the young earth creationists, because that's what they want to do. They want to make it so you're just getting that data from someone else. But that authority, that actual authority, comes from years and years of working your tuchus off in academia, in the proper field, and then being able to become part of that peer review process, which any flat earther, young earth creationist, anyone who disagrees with any of this stuff, they could. But it's a fantastic question, and yeah, and James, you all yours if you'd like.
I would say, can the scientific consensus be wrong on something? Sure. I mean, has it happened before? Yeah. But this idea that lay people or people who don't have expertise are going to overturn entire fields of science that have been substantiated by days and decades of research and experimentation and findings, it's just kind of laughable that, you know, like the young earth creationists we deal with, they're just ready to, they'll throw out geology, they'll throw out anthropology, they'll throw out even world frickin' history. They'll throw that out if it doesn't match with their narrative. And you know, like even like Pat said when he was debating Terry, and Terry threw that like, oh, you just made an argument from authority. Like, you're just saying the people. Well, I mean, is it to say that the people who know what they're talking about all think one thing, and the person who doesn't know what they're talking about disagrees? Who do you think is going to be right, like 99.99% of the time? The people who actually know what they're talking about. But then, so Pat said, you know, hey, I mean, do you speak ancient Hebrew? Do you speak ancient Greek? Do you speak any of the languages that these original texts were written in? No, you don't. So at some level, you're relying on somebody who does speak, who does know those languages, to be able to translate that for you, tell you what they were saying in a language that you can understand. And you're fine. You're fine with that, trusting their expertise, their authority on that. But all of a sudden, when it's expertise that says something different, that says, you know, this 6-day cycle is not at all how you're portraying it, well, then, that's an argument from authority.
And I'm going to change subject, then bring it back on topic. Upside Down Guy, I plead to you. I know the group of people that you have been interacting with, I'm going to assume, for the past few months, maybe even a year or so. Like, I don't know if it's from the poll board on 4chan. It can't be Reddit. Reddit's too liberal. Whether it was certain Discord circles, but I'm telling you, I wasn't gonna. Well, there are certain places on Discord that are also very. Let's just say that Mel Gibson would feel very welcome, and yeah, but that too. Well, the problem is also that they don't. I don't know if they do anymore. Stormfront used to raid 4chan and Reddit, and they were basically unsuccessful at Reddit, and they were much more successful at raiding 4chan, and so they kind of built a culture that has unfortunately bled outward that I try and fight. because it kills me on the inside. I was talking with people today that completely. Oh my God! Soros took him. Oh, and he's back. Soros has allowed us to continue. Thank you, Soros. But yeah, they funnel hate because I can't even hit.
Last I heard you were
after
talking to people. So you were talking to people.
They did.
Today?
NASA almost pulled you out. I forget. We get signed by so many paychecks. We get paid by Soros. We get paid by NASA. We get paid. There's another. I'm trying. Mossad. I mean, all the people that play us. It's flatter than your. See, I'm. Are you really from? So you're from that community? Because he was joking, but I thought he was joking. But if you are a flat earther, can I ask, are you a theist? Like, no joke. Are you a creationist?
He must be at something.
We said, well, I mean, the last flat earther I said told me they're almost all atheists. So let's see. But yeah, we're gonna go. I think we'll go to. I like that 3 mark. That's our 3 mark. So we're gonna hang out for, I guess, 30 more minutes, and then we will wrap up the fun. You are a sun worshiper. The George Carlin quote comes to mind, where at least you can see the sun. That's kind of big for him. There's also like a. What were those knights? I get those type of vibes, like the almost
Knights,
like Sun Norris knights. I don't know. I get very Crusader type of vibes almost when he says that. Yeah, maybe. It's a vampire. Randolph. You think you're so punny, don't you? That's what you think you are.
Sir, this conversation is being recorded.
He is a little bit punny.
It's flat.
It's flat. Flat as a pancake.
Pancake bottle.
Now, we also learned that the firmament self-heals. That was my favorite from Iron Horse, which basically means it's alive. It's alive!
Or God is up there just, maintaining.
Or gnomes.
Doing the routine maintenance on it. A freaking dome. That's like that's probably their silliest claim. The stupid dome.
I couldn't tell. It sounded like Upside Down guy was about to call Jesus a fairy tale, but I couldn't tell. I'm still deciphering that sentence.
Yeah, it might take you a while.
Fight. We're sending love.
Trying to squeeze every ounce of meaning out of that.
Was Pangea was all together. I don't know if that's flat because it went like it had curves still.
Well, like they always say, water always finds its level, except when it doesn't.
Except when it doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm like fighting not
That's
to
a bandwagon fallacy. We'll give him a bandwagon fallacy. We'll give him a Nathan Thompson bottom-up fallacy.
I also can't help myself. I'm not going to show it on screen, but Randolph is a big supporter, so I'm at least going to say if Jesus was a vampire, then him being inside of people could really count. Hashtag puns. This is a comedy podcast. I'm not trying. We're trying just to show our supporters. But if you are a Patreon or a channel member, which you can become by just hitting that big old button right down there, or going to patreon.com/Amy Newman. It really does help support us make even more content. And we just want your burning desire questions or one-liners. Yeah,
Amy's
what's
got
up,
the
Doc
debate coming
Fearsome?
up on Friday.
That's right. Got a debate. I'm not sure if the subject even was picked. Oh, no. I am modding a Flat Earth debate on Friday.
Oh, of course, you're the Flat Earth Queen.
Flat Earth Queen, baby. No, I'm just excited because I know the chat's going to go wild because they're going to go,
You're really starting to trigger
the
these folks.
NASA shill. But I'll be fair. Like I said, I have a completely different goal when I'm modding is I'm trying to get clean sound bites. I'll let the viewers decide.
Well, last debate, you saw the comments like pre-debate. You really have these flat earthers triggered. They're like, oh my gosh, the worst two, like the dumbest two globetards in the world, Amy and Leo.
I love to thank the Flat Earth community. It just feels nice to be loved.
It feels good to be a globetard.
It does. Da da da. No, maybe that's what Upside Down Guy means. Like, maybe that's what the name means. Upside down, because he thinks the Earth's flat. It's upside down.
Well, he probably thinks it's fake, but, hurricanes and the storms in the northern hemisphere turn clockwise. In the southern hemisphere, they turn counterclockwise, called the Coriolis effect. I don't understand how that would work on a pizza-shaped Earth.
James, the people who live in Australia are paid shills. That is my favorite actual
They must
conspiracy.
be. I wonder how much Reid is getting paid by them.
I know, just to live there and be paid by NASA, I think.
Just to, do streams and confirm that, yes.
Very specifically.
I live in Australia. It is a real place.
It is a hybrid come together, both NASA and emus. It's a hybrid operation. I'm pretty sure. Probably.
Makes sense.
Makes sense. But sending love out into the internetosphere. Like I said, we will be getting the first episode. I've been thinking about how to release it. If anyone would like to just say so in chat, do you guys have any opinions on whether you would like 10-minute? By each interview I took was about 10 minutes, and so I could do 3. Yes, exactly. I could do 10 bite-size uploads, a skeptic on the street, or just one maybe like 30-minute upload of 3 people. I'm leaning towards actually 3 people, but I don't know. It's hard. I think that as I get longer, I'll get even longer conversations and stuff.
Simple-minded.
Someone knows. That's right, baby. Got to make exceptions. Oh,
Amy knows about suction. Oh,
that's right.
She knows all about it. Although, Upside Down Guy, from what we hear, you know a lot about it yourself. So,
hey, listen, it's a good mouth workout.
Ask Gavin.
If you're a good boy or girl, you even get a reward at the end.
Ask Gavin. He really works out those jaw muscles.
Can I ask you though? I do want to wonder, Upside Down Guy, is that how you met your lovely lady? I also love that because that's just part of the narrative. Like something happens once in San Francisco, and basically what it always is it's some liberal hippie like, this will be amazing and fun, and what the alternative media picks up on it, and then they play it for years on end, as if like our K through 12 education system has a hard enough time getting kids to listen to algebra. Okay, so like your middle school teacher is chain smoking because she's trying to figure out if she could like write off all of her school supplies that she had to pay off out of pocket are tax deductible. Like, that is what she's trying to figure out right now. Okay? Not Drag Queen Story Hour. I know that is what they want you to think. Because it's about fear. Not to go, like, completely Sith on you, but, like, it's all about fear. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to the dark side. It really is always that. Like, if you can get the teachers to teach the subjects and the kids to give about what they're actually listening to, oh my God, Western society, all society will just be a lot better off. The things I find fascinating now, it's a really uphill battle. The hardest battle I'm noticing is when you learn things as a kid, there's like a built-in like nature just to think whatever your teachers are reading you is just really uncool. Like, I never read 1984 in high school, and so the fact that I read it independently had a major change on my life. Like, I think about that book often because of its implications in my real world, which reminds me that people lose. The good guy loses all the time. Not only does the good guy lose, but like they'll make it to where the final chapter is you kissing the ass of the bad guy. The end. There are no sequels. I think the fucked up thing about that book is it ruins hope for you. Is that, like, spoiler alert, there is no secret society. It's not a fight club, but there's no underground rebels trying to fight against the Big Brother. That was all a part of the plan by the government to weed out rebels, specifically the person that you love.
Controlled opposition.
Yes, the person that you love the most, that you fall in love with, the entrance into this other world to help defeat Big Brother is an agent of Big Brother. She never loved you, and they torture you endlessly until you raise your wine glass to Big Brother himself. The end. That is the final thing of the main character. Is him. He raises his glass to Big Brother, and he says, "And I love Big Brother, and I did not even know if I was lying." Basically, he did not even know. There was a piece of him that basically did. Like, truly destroyed.
Like,
there is no opposition coming for you. There is no rebel group. That is the end of the book. And now people will say to me, like, I hear this Bubblegum Gun when he's like, I think I fell asleep. And I'm like, holy shit.
Jen's
yeah, it might be also. Yeah, that might son. What's up, Jen? Oh, I shouldn't be showing.
Jen,
but what's up, Jen?
Is that you debating tomorrow, Jen? The ghost thing?
Yeah, someone's debating, and their name is Jen tomorrow. We were wondering if that was you. Yeah, she says, I cried the first time I read that. I had a very similar reaction. Like, I had a reaction, like, looking behind the book. Like, this can't be it. This can't be the end.
I would have thought Jen would be debating for Ghost, but the guy...
No, and see... I said, because it's someone that is actually trying to present video evidence, and that just doesn't sound like a Jen thing.
Jen is going to be from the skeptic side. There you go.
So we're wishing you a lot of luck tomorrow, Jen.
I will check a little bit of that debate if I can. I have to tell you guys that my Miami Dolphins are 3-0, and we play tomorrow night versus Cincinnati, and we are one of the best teams in the league, one of the two undefeated teams, Philly being the other one right now. But yeah.
Oh, really?
Go Dolphins.
Philly's undefeated?
Eagles, yeah.
Woo! Go Fleagles! Go. You would think I would know that, but listen, I'm a diehard sports fan. I've been a sports
You
fan ever
always
since
support
sports.
those local teams.
Ever since sports have been around, sending that love right back to you, Jen. Woo-hoo. Team Skeptic.
Miami, we beat Buffalo, who is considered a Super Bowl contender. We beat them last Sunday. The week before that, we destroyed the. It was a good game. We didn't destroy them, but Baltimore Ravens, where we came back from 21 points down in the fourth quarter to win the game. It was an amazing comeback. And
and that's the team to completely keep on doxing myself. That's like the two teams that I have
Baltimore.
to now, because Baltimore, though none of the people in this family are actually Baltimore people, or Ravens fans.
They always seem to have our number, like in big games. Baltimore. They're not in our division. We don't play them a lot, but they always tend to give us a hard time. But
yeah, the Eagles tend to that in Dallas, which I always find funny because I find that randomly Dallas fans seem to be all over the country. Like I see Dallas.
Oh, they're
a
all
guy
over. Like
at bowling. His name.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha! Oh, look at the bands already. But he called himself Cowboy.
Well, they had their run in the '90s. They were America's team. They got fans all over the place. Yeah, it is what it is. It's like almost as bad as New York Yankee fans. They're under every rock. There's somebody wearing a Yankee hat coming up out of nowhere.
Spooky. It's like I don't really follow basketball. Upside down guy, come on, help me out. Just take me back for you. Like, what is the media that you come from? Do you come from 4chan? Do you come from Discord? Is it where does or no, I guess you told me it's Flat Earth. Can I ask, before Flat Earth, did you think that the Jews controlled everything, or was it just that?
James
Speaking of the Jews, I have to turn on monetization. And in a second, I'll read that comment.
The Bears. One of the funniest Saturday Night Live segments. The Bears.
If you would like to see, they're not amazingly funny bits, but if you would ever like to hear Gilbert Gottfried's real voice, just do Gilbert Gottfried SNL, because all of his bits were done before he or all the times he's been on SNL was before his voice. Yes.
Napster.
It's a lie.
Ebaum's World.
Most people obsess over
all
the
those
Jews don't know any Jews. Oh, I know. Most of the people who obsess over the Jews, it's not just the Jews. They're knee deep into in conspiracy has been my joke. It's never like evolution is real, the Big Bang is real, ghosts aren't real, but the Earth is flat. It's like, It all seems to go together.
Lizard people are going to eat you.
They're going to nom your brains. James Wolfe says, please say, go the Penrith Panthers! Woohoo!
Maybe do a
Big
little
game in
cheer,
Australia this weekend. Oh, I need a cheerleading outfit. Need some pom-poms.
There
you go. Sending love, James. I am wishing them well. Go local team.
Well, I'll tell you somebody else that that we have dealt with before.
CURRY?
He's been on apparently going on a lot of Dawa streams lately, and I just support that. And
yeah.
Did
you see what someone called him last night? Oh my God, I can't help it. Someone called him Captain Calendar. I think that he's like, I like it, but I can't help it. I can't unhear that name. Captain Calendar, baby. Here to tell you why the 7-day cycle somehow tells you about
Oh.
Jeebus.
That's Terry, not
Oh, am I getting my streams mixed?
no.
Okay, my apologies.
I was talking about the Angel, the nuclear Holocaust guy.
Oh, gotcha.
He's been going on the Dawa channel
Wesley.
lately.
Wesley's been going on there.
Yeah.
Really? Oh, yeah, you said. Okay. You did say that. Let them deal with
Leo's
it.
like, who's this Wesley
You know
guy?
what?
He keeps coming into our back studio.
Can I tell you, there is no one who has given that dude more chances to the point where everyone is like, Amy, we have warned you. I gave him a softball, the biggest softball ever, to be on our stream and be on our side. It was a flat earth stream. He said one sane thing, and that was it. And then it just went deteriorated from there.
Right. But like it's a little different because I really don't think he's being malicious. I really think he just has these profound delusions and he believes them at some level. But be that as it may, we're not psychiatrists. We're not mental health professionals. And that's above our pay grade to.
You see this? Armchair. We are armchair.
Yeah.
What is up, Peter? Another fantastic panelist from Randolph Richardson's Convince an Atheist that a God or Goddess exists, as well as his own streams and fantastic content. Another $2 super chat. The spice is real. Make it rain. Upside Down Guy for $2. Is dark matter provable, or is it pseudo imaginary? So, first, because this is a technical question, I do have to put on my asterisk that we aren't trying to prove things in science. We are trying to present evidence. But I understand what you mean on a colloquial level. I just have to put that. So, is there dark evidence for dark matter? We are driven towards it, in that there is this force in the center, not just of, there seems to be massive black holes in the center of almost all galaxies, not all of them, but a lot of them. And along with dark matter, that tends to be the main two forces that are bringing galaxies together. To ask, we often get why questions, like why, and things like the why does gravity exist, which are much harder. Dark matter is even fuzzier than that. We just know it's there, but it is hard to probe because of our lack of tools at the current moment to really probe it. Unlike my butt.
Dark matter is more like a concept. It's more like a placeholder for something that we don't understand, that we know that there is some phenomena there, but what it
in fact that's why it's called dark, is because it doesn't interact with the visible light spectrum.
It appears
and look, it's a transitionary question, not just me as a trap. But $2 super chat, another one from Upside Down Guy. Is ether provable, or is it pseudo-imaginary? Ether does not exist. Ether is a former concept. Aristotle believed in the ether, but it has been subseded with other concepts. We now understand things like space-time. We now understand just the atmosphere that we're living in, which is made up of the different gases, the vacuum of space. But we have moved on from, ever since, I believe, the medieval time, away from concepts from the ether.
I think it's actually more recent than that. I really want to say that really only been put to bed maybe in the past 150 years, 100 years. I think you still hear bubblings about the ether from like the early 1900s,
But by then, it's mostly been done away.
there's a colloquial usage of the term ether that doesn't
sure.
mean like
Because
ether.
well, that
abyss,
absolutely. If you want to say like, oh man, I didn't like that content. It was like throwing my money into the ether. People will understand what you're saying. We're two clowns up here. We're not trying to, pull people's language apart. That's why I put the asterisks when I do, because I don't want to fuss about you saying the word provable. I just have to also put the asterisk. I have to do both things. I have to point it out, but also not care and then move forward because I understand what you're saying at the same time. I'll keep on saying these jokes as a comedy podcast, but I'm not going to show it on the screen. Those are for the Patreons, the channel members. But that's even a black hole in my dark matter. Oh, that's right, Peter. But thank you. Randolph is sending love to Upside Down Guy. It's true. I will say, Upside Down Guy, for how much bants we have been sending your way. You have been a great sport, and we appreciate the support. And we're sending that love right back. We're only going to be here for I think a few more minutes, folks, and then we're closing out. Sir. Oh my. I finally missed you, Coalson.
There he
is. Amazing.
Jesse Peterson.
Look, it's just good to have more heterosexuals in chat. What?
Could ether and dark matter be the same thing?
Another
I don't think so.
super chat. I do not like replacing words with words. And that's the other thing. Ether is actually...
it's just how you define the words.
Yes. And not only that, ether, that's not how the word was even used. That's actually, I would say, that's not a Aristotelian use of the word ether. Now, you could say you are using a new term of ether, but dark matter, dark energy is a repellent force. It is specifically, as far as we can tell, what is pushing everything away. It has been doing this since the expansion event of the Big Bang outwards, and dark matter is what is making things clump together. They're two totally different concepts. The only reason they have dark in the name is because they don't interact in the visible spectrum. That being said, always open-minded. We still got a lot to learn.
They could actually map like the dark matter. Like they could actually have a good idea of where it would be based on the gravitation, because gravitation is just math, right? So they can do the math. They can calculate the approximate mass of the things in the galaxies, and then they could tell how things should be moving based on what we see, and then they look at how things actually are moving, and they can see there's a discrepancy there. So they can get a pretty good idea of where this matter must be, but it doesn't appear to be there. There's several different models that they proposed. Like one was called they called it a WIMP, a weakly interactive massive particle. That's a particle that only very rarely interacts with regular matter. I mean, like almost never. They were trying to, I think they were trying to catch one of these in some type of experiment they did. It was in a mountain that would shield out most of the other particles. They were trying to get one of these particles to strike a surface that they could detect it, but I don't know if they ever did. But anyway, needless to say, they're working on these problems right now, and there's still a lot more to learn. But isn't that kind of fun?
Yeah, that's the point. That's the great.
All the discoveries to be made. I can't imagine being a god and just knowing everything. There's nothing to learn. There's no surprises.
Well, it's also why I fight against notions, what I call matrix memory. the instant gaining knowledge, because if you did get that, it would have to be like you would have to have like the way we learn. I'm not saying it's impossible because I don't think it's impossible. I think it's highly unmotivated to do that because the way we learn is through mistakes. The way we learn is through kind of a gradient. You don't just not know something and know something. You may not vaguely know a subject, and then you start to read about it, and then you start to become an expert in it, and then you have mastered it. The same thing is about. I've learned that through, and that is about everything. Like I can listen to a lot of jujitsu videos, but like I had to have a bunch of people throwing me into the mat and getting my butt handed to me until I could finally fight back and survive a little bit. Exactly. And so it's just, but yes, to come back to it, I don't think they are the same thing. But if you want to use that in something, if you want to put that forward, we're open-minded, but
come on, Jesse, don't be calling people betas in chat.
Peters. I know.
Throwing out the.
But also sending love that we have a bunch of debates coming for. I know I'm modding a debate on Friday, and then we have a few debates on Standing for Truth coming up. James is going to be doing a specific debate. Was it just evolution, or was it? There was some topic. It's not a Kent. It was a topic debate.
No, he was looking for people to debate slavery. It's not confirmed yet. I just told him I would love that debate.
Gotcha. And then
insights on it and things that I've never that I don't hear other people mention in.
And then
I'm a beta. Yeah. Okay, I'm a beta now.
And then I'm going to be debating Doctor, give me the news, Hovind. So
now he has fun times. Kent, he has a habit now. He has already asked one trans woman about her genitalia.
Oh my God!
Maybe he can ask another one.
See, that would totally backfire. I feel like the one time he tried to use the religious language, it backfired on him. Because I got to I made some pot shot, but I would love for that. Why? Kent, you looking for a date? I don't know. Why don't you
check your browser history, Kent?
I was gonna say maybe you and myself and Matt Cole have to have a threesome. We'll find out. See, can I tell you, Upside Down though? You say they're amazing on censorship, but when you're actually paid by NASA, they just let everything go by. I don't know. I don't know if you have to have a NASA badge to go through, because I used to have like a lanyard, but that NASA used to give me. But yeah, I think we are about.
I think we're about done.
Tapped out. It was a fun episode,
Peterson's tearing up our side chat. With all these betas out there, he is.
Betas, you gotta be an alpha. James, did you even know that you're a woman? That they put their mouth on genitals?
They do that?
It's amazing.
Really?
Yeah. Oh my. The last one for the night. Sticking it right down. We're just gonna can it go
heading right to the girl deck.
Right down there. Why do dogs bite during sex? 'Cause they like it rough. Oh my. That's right. Thank you so very much, Upside Down Guy. I couldn't have thought of a better one. And that's what I've been trying to get. We got some good questions and super chats. But we actually got our first one-liner up on screen. I'm excited. So that was a true honor
Amy
right there on Ask
is a
Us Anything or
beta.
Say Something Funny.
No one allowed to. Yeah, Jesse, this is our AMA Ask Me Anything stream. It's just for us to respond to the Patreons, channel members, and those who send in super chats. It's not an open mic.
But it's been a wonderful hangout with all of
The
our
only show we do
subscribers
like
and
that once
viewers.
a
It
month.
really has. Exactly. So sending love to them. I also may give a rough cut of some certain thing of Pornhub. No. I mean, the new episode of Skeptic on the Street, maybe one of them.
Suck that girl dick.
I
17.
upload the full version to just our subs because it's going to be a new premiere show that I would like to start premiering very often now. But yeah, with so much love, I would like
you're making it big when you get Jesse Lee Peterson trolling your side chat.
The Jesse Lee Peterson. Hopefully, he'll have his boy toy Ted Haggard join us, who is also a very heterosexual young man.
I imagine he's probably got James Hake wrapped up in a little blanket right now and just giving him all the kisses and loving and yeah.
Just like Matt Powell and Ken Hovind stare lovingly into each other's eyes. I imagine at night.
Like diaper play.
That's right.
I mean,
you'd be surprised which one.
For God's sakes, Ken Hovind has. I sent the picture to Amy. This is ridiculous. He has totally gone off the deep end now. He had a penis-sized chart where he's comparing the penis size of animals. Like, this is at the point now where he's had to hear him being mocked and made fun of for his constant references to animal sex, animal genitalia. He just doesn't care now. He's just, yeah, that's what I'm into. Yeah, that's what I'm into. I'm going to show you how into that I am.
Look, I will stand by it. It is not a Ken Hovind debate.
Genitals.
Unless you talk about an animal's junk. Is it really? I don't think it really is a Ken Hovind debate if you don't.
Lately, he's been talking about ducks, and theirs falls off, and then it grows back, and it's actually it's curled, so it's longer than the duck's whole body. And how many books have you read about that, Kent?
I'm pretty sure if you know that much about it, I feel like he's got a replica, but that's just my
He may actually have a PhD in whale phallic studies. He talks about them so often.
I did not, Peter, but he is definitely a coward. Among the many of amazing names. I'm just kidding, Ken. I'm about to debate you. I love you. I'm just, oh my God. Who would say such terrible? Dr. Hovind.
Does Amy have a penis? Hovind. Where's Atheist Junior?
Exactly. Oh my. But yes, send love to AJ, who does amazing takedown videos of Kent. But I hope you all had a fun time.
If he does a Whack an Atheist, maybe you could actually go to Dinosaur Adventureland and let him whack you if he wants to.
You can leave your friends behind?
He may end up paying you to whack him.
Oh my, now we're starting. Now we're talking.
That may be the most likely outcome. Amy, I've been a bad husband. I think you need to paddle me. I've been a bad boy.
Oh my. Well, I mean, now Gavin and Iron Horse are down here doing their thing on me, so maybe he can join in. Once again, once you join the Pantsless Club, you can't really go back.
At the girl deck level.
At the girl deck level. Though I hope you all had a fun time on tonight's episode of Ask Me Anything or Say Something Funny, the chance where you have a time to ask us anything or say something funny from supporters of our show.
All our subscribers betas.
Betas. I think it's funny, James. One of his ranks in membership, I think, is Soy Boy.
So much soy, yeah.
So much soy. Where you got a chance to ask us anything, send in questions, or give us your best one-liner, as I can get the words out of my mouth. Where we were sending love to everyone who sent in super chats, channel memberships, or Patreon supporters, though we hope that everyone, including all of our subscribers and viewers, had a fun time with James W. and myself, Amy Newman, for a 4-way of fun.
It's still not flat.
That's right. Still not flat. If you enjoyed the show, please don't forget to like, follow, or subscribe. That gives you access to that bell icon, which when set to all, will send you premieres like our new episode of Skeptic in the Street, or our live streams like this one, or hey, why not leave a comment once the video's done?
Do it to me.
You can leave a super thanks. My body is ready, and we'll read it back as thanks on the next stream. Woohoo! After the show, the Skeptic and Ranting Discord server will be open for the after show. The link of which is in the description below. Beta, along with all of our lovely, fantastic channel members. Lastly, the best even, to make even more fun content and help us out and get some unique perks of your own is by checking out our Patreon at patreon.com/Amy Newman. I am Amy Newman, and we will see you all on the next episode of Skeptic Ball Z. Good night. Woo!